Hello, everyone, and welcome to podcast number 62. I'm your host, Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy, joined here in studio by Johnny V in our luxurious and glamorous basement studios here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Nothing but the best for you.
Yeah, thank you.
That's how we roll.
Love traveling all around the country and coming back to your basement. That's how we roll. Exactly. Anyway, so here we are at, again, podcast number 62. We are officially into our next year of broadcasting or of podcasting.
Yeah, you're number 2.
Year number 2, I guess.
E20 episode or S2E01 season 2 episode 1.
Something like that. Sure, we'll go along with that. So we're glad you're out there. You guys are tuned in. Let everyone know you can go out to our live link that we've been putting out there so everyone knows. One thing that we've discussed in the past is how YouTube is kind of goofy about the previews that it puts up. If you put out a link to our live podcast that's happening tonight, even though we have all the information changed to say it's podcast 62 and it's got all of the correct information in there, when you link it up, when you link it on
a
Facebook,
week or two,
yeah,
I don't know if it's a YouTube or a Facebook thing. I mean, it seems to be has something to do with YouTube gaming and Facebook. I can understand the two of them not getting along very well.
I don't know. Either way, it's again, we're out there. It's always the same link every Tuesday night. So we're glad that you're here. And we haven't said it in a while, so I'm going to say it. If you're watching us live right now and you've got a good solid internet connection, go ahead and click on the bottom right-hand side of your screen. That will bring up a little gear area, or there's a little gear on the bottom right-hand side, and you can move that all the way up to 720 as we broadcast our podcast in 720. So you're able to do it that way. If you're listening, well,
we do that, don't we?
Yeah. If you're listening on your mobile device,
take a Q-tip, clean out your ears, and try to get 720 audio that way.
720 audio. That's a good way to do it. So again, we're here. We're glad you are, and we got a few different guests and a few different things going on tonight. We're going to catch up with Dana Vici as we do just about every single week. I don't think Dana's got any rants or tangents to go off on, but I guess anything's possible.
Anything's possible.
We'll also be catching up with one Nate Heinold, who's has been for the last year, a Team Discraft member, but more importantly than that, I believe, he's hosting another version of the Ledgestone Insurance Open this next year. And he's got some big news regarding that event, which was already a monumental effort in 2015. So looking forward to that and its presence and collaboration with the 2016 Pro Disc Golf Tour. So I don't know if we can dial up Dana. I know we're going to get him on the line in a moment. I know each week you guys are nervous just like we are. We're not sure if he's wearing a shirt. We're not sure what kind of outfit he's got going on. But last week he actually went out for a run to kind of waken himself up before the podcast.
Just because there's been some complaints about him being sleepy.
Yeah, so we know he's a relatively new father, and so he says he's going to be alive and kicking and ready to go for this upcoming week, showing off some of his wife's trophies that she's earned playing disc golf. So without further ado, let's get to it. We'll bring in Dynamite in just a second here.
Boom goes the dynamite.
Dynamite. How you doing tonight, buddy?
Doing good. What's going on, boys?
Not a heck of a lot. How you doing? You look a little. Your hair's still short. Your beard is
trimmed.
It's coming along. Have you cut it since November started, or is this just all natural? Have you trimmed it up?
Oh, I don't know. I don't keep track of that stuff.
I wasn't sure if you were part of the whole Movember thing or.
Oh yeah. No, I'll donate to some causes. I think I helped with DG Mike in his Movember tournament. I'll donate to his cause. Shout out if you're out there smashing it tonight, Mike. But no Movember, no shave, whatever. I wake up and shave, or I wake up and I don't.
Okay. I mean, you are your own man.
It's the way to do it.
A few weeks ago, we established you are totally your own separate entity, and we have nothing to do with what you do. No, I'm just kidding.
Wow.
You're your own man, and we love and appreciate that. Your pal, DG Mike, good friend of the show, good fan and friend of disc golf. Like you said, what's he working on this year when it comes to disc golf and integrating that with the cause and initiatives that he's working on for fundraising?
Well, he's been, for one, he's been doing his video logs. You guys look, he'll spam the chat boards here every now and then. But search out DG Mike. But yeah, he does the Movember campaign every year, and he's doing it again this year. He shaved it down. He's got a dirty little mustache right now, but I suspect another week or so it's going to start filling out. And but I think he said he's raised over $1,000. So
awesome.
Yeah, it's no easy thing to raise money, let alone a big number like that. So good work, Mike.
Now, maybe equally as important is, how is his Tinder game? Is that on fleek, as they say?
Yeah, I'm not sure what that fleek is all about, but it sounds cool. But no, I think as he said, I think he's chimed in on the board, and he's turned the Tinder off. He's got a steady gal pal, and at last I knew, anyways. But yeah, I think he's settling down. We'll see. We'll see if he comes on later tonight, and he can fill us in himself.
I hope so, because that's the news that people want to know is
what's DG Mike's game? How is his personal life?
Maybe we need to have a separate. I mean, he's a celebrity. He has his own
Really?
vlog. Maybe we need to have a regular segment with him and running the Tinder game, or not. Doing what you gotta do.
He could do a how-to Tinder.
Yes.
It seemed to work out for him.
Clearly, swipe right for DG
Him
Mike.
and Scott Bertard.
Yes.
How to Tinder properly.
There you go. Disc golf at its finest.
Because our good friend Scott Bertard, I don't know if we mentioned it last week, got engaged.
He
found himself. He roped himself a doctor on Tinder.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's how you do it.
I guess she's seems like a normal, wonderful person, and I mean, tastes can't be. I mean, she's dating Scotty, so.
And so, for those of you who aren't familiar with quite the regional scene, Scotty Too Hottie Bertard is a good friend of ours who's torn up the Wisconsin scene. If you've been in Wisconsin in the last 10 years, he's finished probably first, second, or third at just about every event.
Yeah.
And he's also famous for wearing jeans in any climate or conditions.
Weather, yeah.
Whether it's 10 below zero here in Wisconsin or it's 82 degrees at the Memorial, if he actually leaves the state, he's sporting jeans, and so Scotty Too Hottie's getting it done.
Yeah. Now he's out in California.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of SoCal area.
Out in that general direction.
The general direction.
Yep.
Jeaning it up with his lady friend, and good luck to him. So we couldn't. We tried to get him to do it live on the podcast, and he wouldn't do it.
That would have been the ultimate Smashbox. Is you
proposing?
Yeah.
So if any men are out there or women looking to propose to their significant other, and you want to do it live on the air, we're here for you.
We could find a way to make it happen. We came up with quite a scenario for Scotty Too Hottie, and I don't know, he didn't bite. I don't know why.
Anyway,
good thing you're already locked down, Dana. You've got a amazing wife who plays disc golf, plays it very well,
as we can see by the trophies behind him.
Yes. So talk about some disc golf that took place around the country. Or we'll bring that full circle for you, buddy.
As we were told last week, around the world.
I don't know if either of you looked at the show notes, but I didn't do any prep work for tonight. Terry kind of upset me today.
What?
He's been a little aggressive and ornery, and I'd like an apology on air.
I'm not sure why.
Me.
Tell me exactly why you need this apology.
Well, a number of things that I can't bring on air, but I know you're still mad about how I kind of went off a couple weeks ago.
No.
And how it's affecting you, and I told you I'm sorry for that.
No,
there's no apologies needed.
You're good.
I said no apologies needed.
just put this all out there. We'll let everyone be privy to what's going on. When Dana had some remarks that he did when we discussed the American Disc Golf Tour.
Yep.
It was, Dana and his editorial, we'll say. And since then, I've had a conversation or two with the American Disc Golf Tour. And I will say Chris, more than anything, just wants to get the right information out there. You could call it a defense. You could call it, whatever you want to call it. But he wants the right information, or what he feels is the right information, disseminated out there. Is that the big word I'm looking for?
That's a good word.
So he wants it all out there. I did invite him to the show, although I got to totally admit it was 1:00 when I sent him an email today.
So it was today.
So it was just today. I said, hey, just so you know, if you want to come on the show, it was kind of a last-minute idea of mine.
And we'll give a quick plug. I think it's Final Round Radio. Is that right? Final Round?
They got a lot of rounds. There's
Well, I know the bar and the podcast are close, so I think it's Final Round Radio. They did an interview with him, so if you want to go out there and listen to that, I think he explains a lot of stuff, and he doesn't explain some stuff because he can't. So, give a good listen to that, or go read some web boards. It's all over out there right now.
Yeah, and
so.
I'll say this. I don't listen to a lot of other podcasts, or I just don't have time to, but I downloaded that one. I just simply didn't get a chance to play it, but I am interested because I'm sure it would have enlightened me on a few things as well.
Probably.
So Chris, from American Disc Golf Tour, you have an open invitation that whenever you want to come on the show and it works out for you, feel free, let us know, and we'll gladly go ahead and talk about your tour, just like we've talked about all the other tours. So Dana, I'm not mad at you. I ain't mad at you. I'm not mad whatsoever. When you and I started exchanging a few private messages earlier today, it was all lost in tone. You said something, I said something back, and you thought I was genuinely being worked up or aggressive. I was just playing around with you. So I apologize if you misunderstood me joking around. Does that count?
I'll accept it.
All
Okay.
right.
All right. Well,
Good.
there you have it.
The team is back together.
So now you didn't do any work though. So what are you gonna do?
Well, I still know who won all the tournaments.
Oh, okay.
What do you want to hear about?
Start at the Callaway Gardens, the big one that our boy Kevin McCoy. He would have been a great guest. Maybe we can check in with him. But Kevin McCoy put on an event on a temp course, and sounds like he had a pretty sizable field. What'd you find out?
Yeah, that was a 27-hole layout that he came up with for this event. Callaway Gardens, I think they used to run the Buick Invitational PGA Tour event. Looks like a beautiful piece of property. Great work, Kevin, getting in there and letting them do disc golf. As I'm finding out, you and a lot of other people, golf courses are starting to open their doors to us and bring us in. But so they had a B tier, and I believe it was 2 rounds, and there was a pretty unlikely winner from the Open on the Open side, John Matlock.
I don't think I've ever heard of him, to be honest.
Yeah, and he's been playing pro for a while, and he doesn't have I think this might be his second ever win. I don't even know if his other win was a pro win, but he beat some good names. Joey Lutz finished in second place, one shot behind John. But John usually plays. I think last year only played a few events. This year he's played more, but there's been some years where he's played right around 20 events, mostly around Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina. But congratulations to John on that victory.
Yeah, currently rated 957. The PDGA says, PDGA says 1 career win, which isn't including this week. So you nailed it with 2.
Yeah.
Wow,
nice work, John.
That's really impressive.
Yeah, to take down that field. I mean, beating Joey Lutz, Josh Childs, Matt Dollar,
Snappy. James Cole he's a long thrower. He plays. I'm sure that course sets up pretty well for his game. He can smash 500 plus feet. So
nice.
Did you get any feedback about the course? I know I saw Kevin McCoy had reached out to UC saying that this seems like a very plausible venue for the World Tour stop that I know UC is looking to still schedule in the U.S. But did you see any other reviews or conversation about the course?
Only that Kevin said the reviews were breaking the internet. So,
so the TD
Wow.
who ran the event said that it was the best event and best course ever. Okay.
Course designer, but no, I suspect it's a great venue, and that the course was great as well. But I didn't catch any other reviews. So
Okay.
we'll have to take Kevin's word for it. I don't think he'd fib on it.
Nate Roman says 27 holes, 14,000 feet-ish.
And
So-
par was 100.
Oh, that's what Jordan Castro. I don't know if he's asking that or on the web board, but
Well, Michael Gibney, who's all things Prodigy, who chimes in, tells us par was
100? Yes.
So, wow. So, and again, Kevin has been around the block for a long time. He's a great competitor, a TD organizer, member of the PDGA board of directors. So I trust that everything went swimmingly over there. So nice job.
Yeah, and it sounds like, and I talked with him at the USDGC for a little while about a number of things, but I think we briefly talked about this place, and it sounds like they're trying to build something there, a good relationship with disc golf, and they want big events to come there. So we'll see what happens. And on that note, you had mentioned how Kevin had reached out to UC on Facebook and said, check out this place. We're still waiting to hear that fifth spot for the Disc Golf World Tour, an event in September. Have you guys heard any locations, any possible locations?
Nope.
No, I saw, I think we talked about it on a podcast or two ago that UC was soliciting people to go ahead and basically apply or to plug their venue or their location and or tournament. And I don't think anything's been announced. So along with some of their other big announcements that we'll talk about later, there hasn't been any announcement made as to where they're going or what it is. But like I said, I just saw that Kevin had reached out, and I'm sure there's a lot of people saying, "Oh, I've got this really awesome B tier with this, 6,000 foot course. We'd love to have it here." But we all know that UC and the rest of the crew are going to go as big and
Go big or go home.
Yeah, go as big as they can.
And his home is far away.
Yes. So, no other indications as to where that other remaining sixth. Well, like you said, it'll be the fifth event stop, but yeah, the sixth overall event that has yet to be named. So, whatever, you know what I mean. Anyway, all right. What else you got for results, Dana?
Throw something out there. I don't. I've got a window open, but I'm not looking at it. So
you're testing yourself here.
Well, I just want to bring up on that particular event, Sarah Lamberson won Open Women by 3 over Haley Den. I don't want to short shrift our wonderful women. Mm-hmm. Sarah Lamberson took second place at Am Worlds a couple years back.
Yep,
so,
in Minnesota.
Yep. So I figured I'd give that a good shout out. How about the 11th annual Alma Greens?
Kyle Webster.
Wow, this is like a fun game.
Yes. Kyle Webster in a field of 25.
It's a pretty big field, and I did see that Zachariah Johnson finished. He did not finish the event. His first round was pretty highly rated. It was like 10-20, right around 10-20, I believe, and then he didn't finish second round. I wonder if there was an injury or something. Maybe someone on the board can.
He was tied for second place. It looked like.
Someone can chime in because he's a heck of a player, and he's definitely moving up in the ranks. But good shooting to Kyle Webster, going down to Arkansas and taking down the victory.
All right, I believe one of our ever so fun and entertaining guests from last week pulled out a victory over the weekend. There's your clue. You know who I'm talking about? Dana?
Well, I know Madison won, Paige won.
All right. Well, yeah, so I guess both of them. I was thinking Madison, who we originally dialed up, but Madison had made a post. She said she was going over to Georgia to play. There were some friends over there that were playing, and what'd you see over at the Eagle Eye Open? Or whatever.
Well, the Eagle Eye Open was I don't know if Dana's really looked at that. That's an AM only event.
Yeah,
but
sorry,
congratulations to Robbie Wright for winning that one.
Yeah, he
so
threw me off there.
Yes,
who won that one?
That's right.
All right. So over at the other Georgia event in Valdosta, that's what I meant.
Oh yeah, that's the one you meant.
That's the one I meant.
The 5th annual Valdosta Open.
Yes, that's exactly what I was referencing.
Did your boy Double G come out and win that one?
Double G by 3. And he hasn't played too much this year. I know we've kind of briefly touched on that in previous podcasts. He has a new sponsor this year in Latitude. But yeah, Double G
coming out of the woodwork, because we all know Double G kind of has taken some time off. Now he's with Latitude, so clearly that Latitude plastic is working for him.
Sure seems to.
I mean, the thing about Double G is he's only like 25 or 26 still, and it feels like he's
37
old man in the game. He's been around for so long, and he's just an incredible talent, and he could, as he's showing us, he hasn't played much, and he's coming out with a whole new bag of Latitude Trilogy plastic, and playing some really good rounds.
Well, he crushed his brother by 12 strokes, so he beat Evan, who's a solid player as well. Not quite to the caliber that Double G is at this point, but I know those two like to give each other enough fun for an individual round. So yeah, he beat Calvin Heimberg by 3 strokes. Calvin we saw at Pro. Did we see him at Pro?
I've seen Calvin in a number of places, but where was the last time we saw him?
He was playing very well somewhere.
Could have been Ledgestone. Could have been anywhere.
I think it was a Florida event you went down to.
I saw him there, but I saw him later in the year elsewhere.
Okay, well.
Calvin's good.
Yep.
Calvin Heimberg, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, he was.
Heimberg.
He had some good rounds at Ledgestone, so he was up at the top there. Worlds, he actually didn't he come out pretty hot?
Yeah.
And spent some time in the lead card.
I think that's where we.
Not that you were there, but.
No, but I probably watched it. Yeah, I think that's where I saw him last. Was that he ended up finishing 34th at Pro Worlds, but he was hot. He was hot for a while, and he might have even crested the lead card for a bit.
Yeah, he definitely was on the lead card. I can remember watching and saying, "Wow."
Yeah, and as we said,
lead card.
Madison Walker taking home the Open Women's Field for a good solid $125, shooting. Couple decent rounds, a 958.
Whoop whoop.
Yeah, that's got to be one of her better ones in the past couple months, I would say.
Yep, she was almost hunted down there by Jessica, giving up 6 strokes to her on the final round, but
to win by 1,
edged it out by 1. And Johnny McRae played Masters. I think that's a little bit of a story in itself, there.
Do we think that's where Johnny's going to kind of settle in for the next? I mean, it's hard to say.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Look at this. How big was the Masters field? Was pretty big.
Yeah,
16 players versus 14 for Open. So had Johnny been an Open, it would have been an even 15 and 15. But I suppose.
Yeah, playing the numbers game.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. If you can go play against 15 Masters competitors versus 15 Open competitors, again, the numbers generally will favor you when you're as good as Johnny to go play in Masters.
Exactly. And the funny thing is, so I'm guessing that they played the same pads and everything. He would have lost to Double G by 1 stroke and taken home $25 less.
Well,
because he won 450 in Masters, and he would have won 425, assuming he took second. Anything can change when you switch divisions.
Well, and it's also tough to say because it looks like Open played in a finals where Masters did not. So it's tough to say exactly where the numbers would have come out to. But
true that.
Nonetheless, he's played a numbers
It's a different game in Masters.
It is. It's much. Yeah, it's a
just
totally
like
different
Advanced
mentality.
It's a different game. You could compare the scores, but when you're, playing against some of the best players in the world, like Garrett and
it's
different.
On that note, I don't know how different it is for someone of that caliber, for Johnny and like a Kenny, because they're not playing, for the most part, they're not playing the field. They're playing themselves in the course. Now, when you take someone like myself or a good advanced player, move them up to Open, you definitely see the difference. You see the player, they tighten up, the nerves get to them, when you start playing Open for those first couple times. But I would say for those guys up there, it doesn't matter one way or the other. But you're right. It might be a little bit more lax in that Masters, at least the mentality.
I think the real question becomes, where are there more I don't want head games. Where do people get worked more, Open or Masters?
Masters.
That could be the real question.
I think Masters, and it's more subtle. I don't even want to say it's more subtle in Masters, because some of the local Masters that we've played with, they were open about working you, and we knew some of the guys around here would definitely either maybe throw something at you like, oh, look at you deuced the last 4 of them, how's that working for you? And just kind of throw those little subtle jabs out. But I think the Masters, people get worked a little more. In the Open, it seems to be a little bit more of a quiet game.
We'll see we'll see where Johnny is throughout the year. Again, I think it's just going to come down to
numbers.
Yeah, where it makes sense. If he knows he's got a chance to win, which is most places he still goes, and the money is better there in Open, that's probably where you're going to find him. So, Dana, any other results that you looked up that you thought were of interest?
Well, I guess since we do have the Wisconsin base, your boy Steve Held took down the victory at Esterbrook over Corey James. Nice shooting there, Steve. My good friend Mike Mosier out in Delaware, he went back to back and got 2 C-tier wins.
Mm-hmm.
Played some really good golf. So good shooting to Mike. No surprise there. He's padding his pro victory.
Those numbers.
Yeah, I know we've talked about it in the past, but he's well above 100. He's probably over 150, I'm assuming. But yeah, pretty good shooting there. What else? I'm just gonna take a look at the list. Oh, I wanted to talk about the Directors Cup, which was down at the International Disc Golf Center. They did the old Chuck Kennedy gold division, blue division, white. Basically, depending on your rating, the gold was the highest, blue, then that, et cetera. But in the gold division, you guys catch who won that?
No.
I'm going to guess. I didn't look. I'm just going to throw out a name. That's Steve Dodge.
No, Steve Dodge was down at the International Disc Golf Center, though. Our good friend from the PDGA, Mike Downs. You thought I was going to say Media Marty. No,
I didn't.
No,
I didn't.
That never.
Say
we
that.
love Media Marty, but that never crossed your mind.
No.
Yeah, sorry, Marty.
No, Steve,
Marty did play last weekend. I won't mention where he finished. He could have used a big hug last week instead of Brady Hammond. But Mike Downs went off on the Steady Ed course during I think it was only a 2-round tournament, but posted like a 1050 rated round.
Yeah, very impressive.
Got himself a win. So Mike, he's the very hard-working PDGA employee that we see at all the majors and national tour events. Behind-the-scenes guy, making things happen, and does a lot for the sport. And it's good to see him. He used to be a 1,000 rated player too before he took this position with the PDGA. So he's put his game aside for the greater good of the sport, and I thank him for that. And I'm glad he got to get out and play and get a taste of the hot round.
Yeah, I mean, he's solid. Still 995. He shot a 980. He beat Joey Mela.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Joey's no slouch. We all know that.
No.
Yeah, congratulations, Downsy. Very solid play out there. And a lot of people may say, oh, well, he works there. He probably plays there all the time. He's just like all the other PDGA employees, and I'll say this on their behalf right now. They don't just go out and play golf all day. In fact, they probably play less golf than most people out there. So, yes, he does spend a lot of time, working in disc golf, but usually that means you're sacrificing your play for it. So, congrats again, Mike. Awesome to see, buddy.
Yeah. There was a tournament. There was a doubles tournament in Illinois. Ashley, Edith, and I went and hung out for a little bit and said hi between rounds. And I went to go check the results, and no results are posted. We got a slum TD.
Oh.
Did raise. It was a fundraiser tournament, so good work there, raising money for the course, and then also for our good friend Dano, who passed away roughly 6 months ago. We've got a pavilion out there that a lot of people have been working on. This is out at Trinity Links in Lockport, Illinois. I wish I could report on the winners, but thank you everybody for coming out and donating. And there was a raffle and raising a bunch of money, and we've got a really nice pavilion that's nearing completion. So, and congrats to all the winners that I can't name.
Speaking of winners, there was a question about who won the event in, it says the Aussie Open. I don't know if...
No, I think that was just somebody...
Is that somebody trolling us? Is that Sean?
Well, there was the Melbourne Cup in Doncaster, Australia.
Okay.
So I don't know if that's what he meant.
I did look. Was it Andrew? I can't remember. I was going to say an Andrew something.
Yep.
You were on there. Andrew Ferguson.
Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't. It's not a household name, but I did look, and yeah, it was Andrew.
Yep, Andrew Ferguson.
With
congrats.
a small PDJ number of 85.49.
Okay.
It looks like he won in a playoff because they both shot -8, first and second, him and Patrick Robinson. So congratulations to Andrew Ferguson. We had some feedback last week and the week before, and from saying that they wish we covered a little bit more global events, and we try to cover global events when they're larger events. Like we'll talk about some of the European Open ones if they get a decent, if they're a B tier usually or higher. That's kind of what we look for is at least a B tier or higher. But even though this is a C tier, we're gonna give some prop out to our friends down under.
I'm gonna say congrats to Cassie Sweeten, although not too much for competition down there. But Cassie, I had met at the 2008. I believe it was 2008 Japan Open. She had also purchased recently a couple of supporter discs. So Cassie, hello down there in Australia. Hope all is well, and good to see you out there playing this weekend.
Yeah, and on that note about talking about other tournaments and other things, I did have a smashy, Wes Kepi from Des Moines, Iowa, reach out to me.
What country is Des Moines in?
That he has going on there. What?
I said, what country is Des Moines in?
It's in
Des Moines.
Iowa.
Iowa.
Okay, I thought. Okay, I was thinking
I
in
know
Des
we're
Moines.
kind of talking about outside of the U.S., but he's a smashy. He tunes in the next day or whenever the podcast gets up, and he said he watches it or listens to it on. He speeds it up. So thank you, Wes, for tuning in. But he's got a private course. He ran a little fundraiser there. They've got a lot of cool things going on with that. But he's gonna be doing a ladies event. I like that. I think that more of us need to run ladies events. I know Terry has done some in the past, and I've done some women's global, and it's a lot of fun really showering the ladies and going all out, get extra CTPs, free prizes, and all kinds of other things. But he did also mention, did you guys play? You guys played in the Des Moines World Championships, right?
Many years ago.
2004. I was there.
And yeah, so Hall of Famer Becky Zallek, who she passed away, correct?
Mm-hmm.
He did mention that they've got a new course coming to Des Moines in honor of her. And just last week, the Wellmark Foundation awarded $10,000, a $10,000 grant as part of a community Kickstarter for the course. So that's pretty neat that Becky Zallek, I never met her. I didn't get to play in Worlds when it was in Des Moines. I heard it was one of the best Worlds ever, but
it was a lot of fun.
Just getting into disc golf at that point, playing tournaments at that point. So I definitely, and I've got to say, I've only played a couple of the courses in Des Moines casually. I haven't made the Des Moines Open this year. It's not going to be any different as it falls as the same weekend as the St. Jude event. But I did want to give a shout out to Wes. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for the info and for the heads up on the Becky Zallek Memorial course. And rest in peace, Becky.
Yeah, and I'll just echo real quickly that I had the pleasure of working with and talking with Becky and being around her, and she, what so many people would echo is just that when you walked into, when she walked into a room, she kind of lit everyone up. She was always so ambitious and excited and always had this huge smile on her face, and and just had so much energy. And that's what was really amazing, because after someone put on a Worlds like that, usually you're depleted,
Burned out a little bit.
Burned out and depleted. And I remember as I was preparing to run the 2007 AM Worlds, she was one of the main contacts. And like you said, that was she had kind of raised the bar, and they had, used her template and what she was doing and all the successes that she had had, and she became a Worlds coordinator of sorts, and someone that was kind of a liaison between the PDGA and potential Worlds sites and courses. And again, she was just an amazing woman, and I got to see her a few years ago, and she was put into the Hall of Fame, and just an all-around amazing woman. So, like you said, glad to see the honoring taking place for her over there in Iowa. Very, very deserving.
Yeah, and I'm sorry I couldn't do her any justice to Phil. You got Phil the Smashies in on her, but thank you, Terry.
Yeah, she's, again, very, very, very deserving overall. So, all right, and did you see any of the final? I know you haven't seen any of the footage because it's all right here on my little laptop, but have you seen or heard of any of the details regarding the Spike Hyzer event? I had reached out to Chuck. I was going to ask him if he wanted to join us, and him and I kind of went back and forth, and then I think by the time I got back to him, it was just a little too late. But anything jump out at you that you saw from this weekend's only A-tier taking place?
Yeah, a couple things. I kind of saw an ace.
Yes, kind of.
Who do you have working the camera?
So here's the funny thing about this particular hole.
You. If it was someone else, I'm sorry.
It was me. It was me. I'm a one-man show, man. I know it seems like the work of 10, but it was just me. And here's the funny part. On the previous day, we were on this very hole, hole 12, and Chuck Connelly, the TD, was standing there, and he had put up banners. There's an OB fence that goes along the left-hand side of this of the hole. And there's OB Road on the right side, but someone, not him, sorry, had put up some banners. And it just so happens that when you throw this shot, which is around the corner, these banners perfectly block the basket. You can't see it. There's Innova, a Dynamic Disc, and a couple of other sponsors. There's his banners right there, and he kind of jokingly said, I'll have to get those moved tomorrow, and I'll get them moved. Well, when I got there the next day, instead of standing on the tee with the rest of the players, I decided, I'm going to hustle down. I'm going to run all the way down to where near the basket. I was level, pin high, so to speak, with the basket, but standing in the OB Road across the street. And then I actually had caught, and then Barry threw his shot, and Barry Schultz, PDGA 6480, something like that, threw and aced. And I knew the second that it had gone in, I was like, I know I've got the flight technically in the viewfinder, but with the shadows, I mean, it's all there. It's just shadowed.
Yeah.
And it really sucks. And that was one of the challenges of filming out at that Sunset course for the weekend. Is there's a number of trees out there, which is great for obstacles, but with the time of day and everything else, it was just shadowed. So I have it perfectly the entire time. It's just really tough to see. So I got the ace. I was excited about it, but it was kind of bittersweet immediately because I was like, oh, I know I followed it, and I know I for sure got it going into the basket, which you can see a little bit more cleanly, but I guess it was the best I could do camera work wise. So I apologize to anyone out there. And that brings up a point maybe we can talk about a little bit later about aces and ESPN and SportsCenter and all that. But I did record that ace, and I got to record Schultz, who, as I've said to others, that guy hasn't skipped a beat. I mean, he's two-time world champ. He's won the USDGC. He's won Pro Masters World Championships. He dominated Wisconsin for every year he lived here. That guy, if Schustrick or Wysocki or Macbeth, if any one of our current Open top competitors were there this weekend, and Barry played the same game, I think he would have still came out on top. I mean, he shot well all weekend.
Well, and I wasn't sure if I needed to scroll down further because I was looking at the Open field, and I wasn't sure if it was the Masters field. I mean, Barry and Schwebe won too.
Yep. And there was even a joke. Go ahead.
I'll hop in here.
Yeah, please do.
Austin Turner, who was, I believe, the 19 and under world champ, stepped up, and he he played some really good disc golf. Played averaged well above his 985 rating, but final round he popped off the hot round 1066. Moved up into third place. That's one of the big stories I would take from the weekend. First being the ace and Terry's awesome or not so awesome luck with the light, but the ace was pretty cool. Austin Turner, an up and coming player that we're probably going to be seeing some more of, I'm assuming. But also, Big Germ. He came out, yeah. I know, I see your face, Terry. I see it. And he went 1093 first round.
Which I didn't record, by the way.
Was he not on that card that you were there?
No, I hung out at a totally different course. I wanted to spread the love around, get a little of non-pros.
Because you were going to cover them later.
Yeah, because there's going to be 4 rounds. So the first round I wanted to cover someone other than the pros. I thought I'd see the rest of the weekend. So that was by design. And I got to tell you, Germ was on another card over at the pro course, and a lot of the top players were spread out. I'm not sure that I would have followed him for his whole round anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, 1093 round,
that's
solid.
That's a heck of a start.
Yeah.
I'm sure he finished.
Yeah. Rough. I'll get into that. I wanted to ask, did McFly, was he filming?
No. I know he had reached out at one point to the event. Excuse me. And then there was a conversation as to, where I would be, and Chuck was working with me to bring me down there. And then I know Marty had shown some interest, but we also then realized that, by second round, when a leader card is established, it would look silly if both he and I were there, and we were both trying to film the leader card. And it was a matter of timing. I think Chuck had reached out to me first a few months ago, and then that's what kind of got the ball rolling. So by the time Marty reached out to him, I believe Marty was welcome to come and welcome to film and whatnot. But I think he felt like, well, if I'm not on the leader card, then I'm not sure I want to be there to hang out, which is too bad, because had he followed a Germ first round,
a prodigy player like Germ,
he would have had a 1093 rated.
Yeah, that's why I asked.
And so there was no sighting of Marty McFly this weekend.
Schwebby said that that the kid putted his arse off. Austin, I'm assuming he's talking about Austin.
Yeah, and I can elaborate on that in a minute if Dana wants to continue. But yes, he absolutely did.
Okay, yeah. Sorry for
no, you're good.
Sidetrack. I was just wondering if maybe we'd catch some video, but so Germ went 1093, 970, which hey,
you can sprinkle a 970 in there.
Yeah, things are gonna happen. You can't. It's tough to sustain that perfectness. I guess actually I don't know. I'm assuming I've never shot a 1093 rated round, but. Unfortunately for Germ, he doesn't bounce back from that 970 round, which is probably one of his lowest rounds of the year. Unfortunately, fast forward to round 3, and he popped off a 938. So quickly, he erased all the good that he had done first round, and at the end of the day, he shot a decent final round, a couple points below his rating, and finished in 4th place, tied with Lance Brown.
Yeah, it looks like I'm scrolling through his records, not to harp on him. He's only shot one round that was lower than 970. He shot a 960 a couple weeks ago at the first round. It looked like the first round of the Disc Golf Hall of Fame Classic, the NT. He shot a 960.
Second round.
I'm sorry, that's second round 2 right there. I'm sorry, I missed that. So yeah, and I
think a big hug is due here for our friend Big Jeremy. Maybe I'll reach out to him, and I should have hit him up, see what happened. But big hug, Jerm.
Well, I did see
you'll get him next time, kid.
I did see on Facebook he posted something about how it's more about how that he clearly had a bad day, that I think he was saying something how he couldn't miss trees, and that it was more how he composed himself. He was very proud of himself that he didn't lose his temper, and that the other guys in the card actually complimented him with as bad as his round went, that he just kept on keeping, I guess. So
yeah,
more power to him.
He was, and to bring that all full circle, at 8 o'clock that night, so Saturday night, he had this amazing opening round and followed up his round, 120 points lower. and his good friend, teammate, and
World doubles partner?
World doubles partner, Paige Pierce, had texted me, and she just asked, what happened out there? Germ's second round. And I had replied, yeah, ouch. OB, missing putts, etc. And then she asked, was he super pissed? And I said, no, he took it all very well. So, and he did. I know Germ has been working on that for a while to, do just that, maintain his composure. I know it's easy when you're one of the best players in the world to get really frustrated, especially when you're playing on your, in your home state against national tour fields. And he was. So certainly a big hug is appropriate out there, not playing quite up to his level of play that he can, but it was admirable. He was very composed. He kept to himself and was quiet and reserved when things were not going his way. At one point,
and he came back at the last round with a 10-18.
Yeah, at one point on Saturday afternoon when he was having a not so great afternoon, Nate Sexton was in town. He did a little work with me, some video work. Him and his wife were in town, and we chatted. He walked along because Nate was actually was the defending champion and couldn't compete this year due to his hernia. And Nate, I think while they were transitioning from 14 to 15, I think Nate said, I think I'm beating you right now, Big Germ, because Nate considered himself even, and I think Big Germ had just gone to 1 over par for the round. So Nate's like, I haven't thrown a disc, but I think I'm beating you here today. And it was, unfortunately, the very next day, 12 hours later, Big Germ, I think, was either at even or 1 over par going into 15 the next day as well. Oof. Meanwhile, his card mates are 6 or 8 or 10 under. So, Big Germ, it was great watching you play all weekend. Sorry to see you struggle, but as soon as he got off that leader card for the final round, he put it all together and shot well again. Clearly, that course suited him.
Oh, sure.
He had the 1093 and the 1018, and the 2 rounds in between where they played the same course over at Sunset were averaged, 945 golf. So,
yep.
Go get him next time, Big Germ. I guess that's what I can say to that.
Go pet your dog or something.
Yeah, his their brand new puppy that he just got. So good to see, though. I think the funny part about his teammate and his good friend Paige asking kind of for the update goes to show that she's winning a tournament on the a few hundred miles away, but yet is still concerned and keeping up on her good friends. So very cool.
So do you see any of the the players that we have today, the young players, do we see them competing at Barry's level at that age? I mean, Barry is what, 45, 46?
It's his I believe he's 45 right now.
Okay. And he's dropping 1050 rated rounds. Two of them, 1056, 1047, followed up by some little weaker 1035 and 1022 rated rounds. We'll leave Macbeth out of the equation. Do we see our current pros being able to do that in 20 years for some of them? So think of some of our young guns that are in their mid-20s right now.
Sure, a Wysocki and a Will Schusterich and a Coling and whatnot.
Or even Macbeth. Can you think?
Yeah, sure. Even Macbeth. When they're 45, I mean, you got to figure some of these guys are literally half that age. Are they going to be playing at that level? I mean,
Austin Turner's like a third of that age.
Yeah, I know. That's a great question. That's a lot of years of experience.
That's a lot of wear and tear
and
on
patience.
Your body.
Yep.
It'll be the senior citizen podcast we're doing. And the question is, how does Barry do it? For his throws, he's not a violent. He always had that straddle putt.
Straddle putter for most of his career. Experienced this back at the U.S. Masters a few months ago. he still has a straddle putt, but it's more, he doesn't squat as much as he used to. He literally used to squat all the way down. It almost looked like his butt was touching the ground when he got all the way down as he would accelerate upward toward the basket and release. And now it's, for lack of a better term, it's more of a wiggle while he's standing up, and he kind of shifts his weight around while he's a little bit more erect, and then he releases it that way. It's the release looks pretty similar, but he definitely sets up for it. And when asked about that, I think he just said, my knees are getting older, and squatting down to get in position for a putt is just not what it used to be. So he's adjusted, and I think he maybe missed two or three putts all weekend inside the circle at most.
Yeah, I'm
maybe
assuming
2 or 3.
I'm assuming his knees are the reason why. I mean, you get that age, and I'm sure just your joints and your knees. So Beats is saying that Barry's back is toast, which I assume could be part of the reason why he doesn't get as low as he used to. So.
Yeah, maybe, but he throws still very far. He throws with power. He still throws smoothly. He throws. His rocks as far as, most of the players out there, and even better looking than most of the players out there when it comes to the flight of the disc. And he still has it. And Chuck Connelly, the TD this weekend, said he thinks that Barry's just the all-around best disc golfer in the world right now at this age. And
at that age, sure.
Well, I mean, I think even right now, though, he wants to put him up against a Macbeth any day. And I think numbers will prove that Macbeth more often than not will come out on top. But I think they're a good battle.
I think we discussed this with somebody off the air a while ago, that almost any of these guys can beat Macbeth in a 2-round event. But I think it's the marathon, when you get to those 6-round tournaments, 4-round tournaments, that's when it's really tough to keep the constant pace that you do. So, yeah, I think Barry could hand Macbeth a loss with during maybe a shorter event, but this week it looked like he probably could have easily handed Macbeth an L. So,
yeah, it was great to see. And for those that don't know, Barry, obviously being a Wisconsin guy, I grew up playing against, watching him, idolizing him, and learning from him. A little bit of traveling with him way back in the day.
My very first tournament round was with Barry Schultz. Yeah.
And look at where you both are now.
The Fox 1997 Fox Valley Open. I got to play with Barry, and because that was back when you mixed fields.
Sure.
So our first round, we mixed divisions, and I don't remember who ran that, but I remember thinking it was my first event, and I got to play with Barry, and I was like, oh, wow. And Plowman Park, I would love to go back and look at the numbers, but I think I remember him crushing me by like 40 strokes.
First round.
Yeah, 1 round.
Yeah.
It wouldn't maybe it wasn't quite 40, but
it could have been.
It very well could have been, because I think he probably shot 12, 15 under, and I was probably 20 over. So, ridiculous.
All right, Dana, everybody's worried about your state of exhaustion here. It looks like you're getting tired there, all saying.
I'm all right. I went for another run this week, and then I took a shower, and I'm feeling good.
Are you focusing? And we'll get off of golf a little bit. We'll get to Nate in a couple minutes, I'm sure. But are you focusing on your health this winter, as far as get your body more in shape for golf, or is it just a change of pace kind of thing for you?
Well, I mean, I think you hear it from everybody. They talk about, all right, it's the off season. I'm gonna do this, do that, blah blah blah. But I would like to exercise more regularly. I've been running more. I enjoy running. Ashley and I were going to yoga before the baby, and I actually tonight tried to go to yoga, but class was canceled. It would have been my first one back since Edith was born. So looking to, just do some things to, feel better, because I don't know, 31, I'm not that old, but my body is, I've played sports my whole life, and I've played them hard, and I can feel it in my back and my shoulder and all that. So I want to get in better shape and get more flexible. I think it'll help with disc golf, but it'll just help me, feel better in general. So I might have some updates here in the next couple weeks in regards to that. I got something brewing. So.
Okay. Well, it's good to know. You want to keep that Barry pace when you're 46.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Shooting 1050 golf.
that's right.
All right, Dana. I think we can let you go.
Yeah, we'll let you. We're gonna talk with.
Mr. Nate Heinold.
Heinold.
I guess let me wrap this up. We'll bring it around while you're still here. The Spike Hyzer event was nothing short of awesome. Chuck Connelly was a gracious host. Everybody, really is behind him and supportive of what he's doing. The city of Rocky Mount is very supportive of what's going on. I know they were actually a cash sponsor. Probably was their CVB or something along those lines was a cash sponsor. Their park and rec department were out there moving tees.
Tees?
Yeah, moving tees and putting up baskets and putting in new things and putting up rope. And I can't imagine that kind of support. I've got some really good park and rec departments I work with, but to have park and rec department out there literally laying OB rope, the day before a tournament or a few days leading into it. So just tremendous support and effort that goes into it. Schwebby was a huge help as he lives about 15 minutes from there. He was helping with some of the slight course redesigns, so that would be appropriately challenging for the right divisions. And then Chuck had a number of other people stepping up. I know Bill Jacobson, MTL, a few others were there helping out.
Nate just gave a little shudder with rope when you said rope.
Yeah. So lots of really good, amazing things taking place down there. And I got to say, it was my first ever Chuck Connelly / Spike Hyzer event. And I can see why so many people support him and why they're on board. He's a really nice, patient guy, which usually eventually wears out on a TD at some point, but he's going strong. And I got to thank Kyle and Nikki, my two traveling companions and hosts.
Should Kyle get a big hug?
Kyle, I gave him a big hug, I think, at some point.
Yeah. I had to scroll down a little ways to find his name at that event, so
yeah,
we won't bring that up. But congratulations, Kyle.
Yeah, so Kyle and Nikki were just great hosts and traveling partners, and they certainly were part of what helped me make this weekend possible. So very, very appreciative of all of that. So great stuff down there. Chuck's got some big stuff in the works for 2016. I know he's talking about his new tour that already starts like next week or something, even though it's technically a few months early of 2016. And it was just a really good experience. It's great being around great tournament directors. I shared a room with him for the weekend, so we got to know each other, and
I bet
it's and get this, Kyle and Chuck snore as bad or worse than me. They both.
Oh,
yes, I'm not kidding. I let them get a full couple hours of head start on me, and they were snoring away like crazy. Yet they both complained the next morning that I was snoring. I'm like, I recorded you guys. You're outrageous.
Nice.
So. Anyway, really good time, and thank you to Chuck. Thank you to everyone down there. I received a lot of support, a lot of handshakes and thank yous and all that other stuff, and I really appreciate all the people down there that were welcoming to me and the effort and the work that I was doing down there. So thank you guys so much. It was awesome. And congrats to Barry and all the series winners, as well as all the individual event winners. Austin Turner, we can talk about a little bit later. I've got more on him. I saw Lance Brown was out on the board as well. Watched Lance play really solid golf, and I'll have some recording with him out there too. So thank you, Lance. It was awesome.
Real quick, is Lance, did he shoot really good at the Hambrick? That's the Lance one I'm thinking of.
I believe that sounds right, and that wouldn't really surprise me because I watched him play.
I think he got fourth place at the Hambrick, made the finals. So I just tested my skills.
That's what you do, Dana.
That's right.
Yes. So Lance, and then Austin Turner was going to turn down the money. Here's the little insight on him. He was going to turn down the money. I think he was offered like $575 for third place. And he told others he was going to turn it down. And then as he posted on Facebook, I think he had a conversation with his mom. And
how old is he? He's 19?
17?
17?
17? Yeah, because somebody said something about working or job or something. He's like, Yeah, no, I've got like tests on Monday. He was referring to like high school. So Austin, great kid, great competitor, and then and what I was really getting at is then at the last moment he declared, he said he's going to take cash, and he's not going to worry about any kind of Am Worlds competitions next year, and he's full blown a professional and a solid one at that. So
Congratulations.
Congrats, Austin. It was your final round was amazing. Literally 3 putts off of what would be otherwise a perfect round. So I'm going to look forward to putting that together in a video of itself, possibly. So very cool.
All right, Dana.
All right, boys. Thanks for having me, Terry. Thank you for apologizing. I'm sorry I didn't get any show notes, but if you didn't apologize, I was going to log off and encourage everyone else to do so.
Oh, wow.
Mutiny!
Take all the fans. I mean, everyone's just here for you, Dana. We all know that. Watch, we've got a little less than 100 viewers right now. There's going to be like 6 once you log off.
Yep.
I mean, we need to pay you more to stick around.
I'm sure we'll see the big Heinold spike.
The Heinold bump.
The Heinold bump. All right, and now my favorite part. Bye.
See ya. All right, as we said, Dynamite Vitchy joining us. A little extended tonight, but had lots of stats, even though there's not a lot going on around the country.
Well, you wouldn't think so, but there's a lot of events. I mean, a lot of B tiers going on. So,
yeah, and Henry and a few others say we all leave after Dana is done. So I understand. I mean, those curls and that well manicured beard. I don't know what more we could ask for.
Just not a lot.
All right, and in just a moment, we're going to see if we can...
You're a little clean shaven. I mean, you lost the
today.
Sides.
Yeah, I shaved.
You normally keep the full... It's November. You've got hunting coming up.
Yeah. So no, it was actually... I figured it would be a good time to get cleaned up. We got tonight's show, and then I had to go meet my children's teachers for a little parent-teacher conference action. So I decided to clean myself up a little bit today.
We are going to... get a hold of Nate here on the line. So hopefully Nate can... I saw him out on the board, so if he could just get on his Skype. I'm seeing he's away right now, or give us a call and we'll pop him right on. But
all right, Nate Heinold, we're going to be dialing him up. He's got some exciting information for us. I know he's been working tirelessly on this
Is it about the new Smashbox Open?
It should be, but it's not.
The Ledgestone's renamed to the Smashbox Open.
But I know he's already tirelessly working on 2016 Ledgestone.
He was
insurance.
working on it before the last one even finished.
That's just silly.
I find that ridiculous. So
yeah, well,
good for him. We need people like him in the sport that help things grow, because there's people like us.
Well, and a video you may have seen post. I'll make a plug now. We're waiting on Nate and other big tournaments. I just posted a video prior to the show that if you are anywhere within 1 to 9 hours, you should come to Wisconsin next weekend, right after Thanksgiving. I'm hosting a C tier for pros, and it's a B tier for all AMs. I decided to make the AM side a B tier so that you could earn more points. AM Worlds is taking place right here in Wisconsin next year, about an hour from where I'm hosting this event, but it's taking place in Madison. So I am inviting all of you to come and play at what is a pretty fun course in southeastern Wisconsin, the Gray Fox course, 2 rounds of 18. We'd love to see you. So Saturday is advanced men plus all pros, and then Sunday is every other division. And I'm I don't know, 20 to 25% full on each day. So please come join us. Cold Turkey number 10.
Number 10?
Number 10.
Wow. I think I played one.
Yeah, I won one. I think Dana's maybe won one. Johnny Rumble's won a couple. We've had quite a few different winners. And so if you're within like 6 to 8 to 20 hours of Wisconsin.
Yeah, that weekend, that was bad for me personally because I'm always up north. But that's why I've only played one of that particular event. Usually I'm a pretty regular at your event. So
yeah, get signed up ASAP. All right, without further ado, Mr. Ledgestone Insurance Open, Nate Heinold is live and joining us from his beautifully decorated home, which we have to credit his sister and his mother for. His beautiful sister and beautiful mother. Well, we know who does the work.
Yeah, we know
there.
who does the work. We've been there. We hung out.
Welcome to the show, Nate. How we doing tonight?
Nah, I'm just tired. So this is like an hour and a half past my bedtime. So
You're not even exaggerating. That's the funny part.
I'm not. Why can't I see you guys? I just see this like S logo on my screen
That's
instead
all
of
you
your
need to see.
beautiful face. So
Because we're conserving our bandwidth to make sure that everyone can see you clearly. So that's all that really matters here. We see you got a
matters. You're right. So
sporting
yes.
a fresh
Wow,
haircut. Looks good,
I
buddy.
was wondering. I officiate high school basketball games on the side. I was wondering if I was going to have to step in to officiate that mayhem between you and Dana. It sounded like that could have gotten like maybe UFC 194 or something. So
That's true. He could go straight up.
Rousey?
No,
Holmes? Home? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's yeah, anyway. So I'm going to lead right in. Speaking of Dana and inside the cage, did I hear you've roped him in to some responsibilities next year?
And we know Nate likes ropes.
Yes.
I like that. So I love rope. I actually have a few thousand feet in my garage still. So from last year, I just can't get enough of it. But yes, Dana has been hired as my assistant tournament director to ease my 1,600-hour burden of the tournament director responsibilities.
All right, so you got Dynamite Danavici, who's a touring pro and
Yes.
a tournament director of a number of other events. Are you going to do everything he says?
He's going to do everything I say.
Oh, wow.
He has to follow what I tell him to do. No, the benefit of having Dana is that he'll give me good perspective on what the touring pros are looking for. Obviously, I have an idea of that, but Dana's just a great voice to be able to bounce ideas off of, and I just need a lot of help during the actual event, so he'll be there to kind of help set up stuff, assist, some design work beforehand, that kind of stuff. So,
Are you going to let him play or no playing?
I told him that he could play, so I think he'll become more disc golf rich by sticking with me. But I did tell him that I would let him play the event. So, but he can't practice, so he just has to help me. So no practice allowed. So.
Dana doesn't need practice.
Oh, you're right, especially on those courses. So
Yeah, exactly. I mean, those were easy for everyone. So Ledgestone had a lot of things going on, a lot of moving parts last year, including things like $20,000 checks going to St. Jude, including $125,000 payout, this insane players pack for AMs, and they may have complained a little, but when they stuck around at the end, they also got a ridiculous payout at the end for the amateurs. How do you come back this year, besides joining some forces with Steve Dodge and the Pro Tour? How do you come back this year and get even bigger and better? How do you follow that up?
Well, I would say that the main reason I'm able to even come back at all is because of Discraft. They have really, before they even decided to step up their game for this current 2016 event, they were kind of my support team after the fact. They really were concerned about my well-being. That sounds terrible, but I was very exhausted after the event. So they were just great to work with even after the tournament. They're a family company, and so that's really the reason why I'm even able to do the tournament again, is because of Bob Julio and Mike Wagner at Discraft stepping up and supporting me after the fact, and then really stepping up to support the event for next year. And to put a plug in for Discraft, they have a lot of things in the works for 2016. I got to visit their factory again this last weekend, and we met for the entire day on Friday, and so they have a lot of stuff going on for next year that's very exciting. They had a phenomenal year last year, and some new stuff in the works. So, but Discraft really is stepping up for next year's event to make it even bigger and better.
All right. So, any specifics that people can count on?
Specifics. I'll pull up my projected payout on the Enter site.
You already have a projected payout. It's
I don't have a projected payout for my tournament in 9 days, and you have one for in
do you
9
even
months.
have one like during the event, or do you just?
He just makes it up
I
usually.
just make it up, and yes, with your cocky comment there. I do take that as sponsorship from you for this upcoming event. So thank you for signing on to that.
Yeah. See, I would play your event, but I don't play when it's cold. So,
Oh, okay.
So if it's not cold, maybe I'll come. So
Your brittle little
I've actually
hands and anyway.
never actually played one of your events. I've heard they're good though. So,
Well, thanks.
But as I pull up the projected payout, if my number crunching abilities are good, which I'm confident they are, I believe the pro purse, drum roll please, will be $150,000 next year.
What? Say that one more time.
$150,000.
What?
What was it, and what was it this past year?
Like 120, just under 120 last year.
You're bumping the purse $30,000.
So the top, this is actually already online too at lisopen.com, the projected payout tab. But it looks like the top 77 people in MPO will get a minimum of $500. And the top, everybody in the top 8 gets at least $2,000. The winner $7,000. So, people say, "Wow, it's a huge purse. Why isn't first place getting, $15,000?" But I don't really like to do the super top heavy first place prize. And I don't think the top pros like it either. I've asked enough of them. And I think they all prefer this model of a little bit flatter. So
until they come in first,
Yeah.
they all say it thinking like I might take 8th or 10th or maybe 14th, but then when they at that final round when they're dropping that last putt, they're probably thinking, oh, I wish this was top heavy.
Yeah, exactly. That's the way it always is. And sandbaggers say the same thing when it comes to the amateur side of things. They always say, I hate players packs. And it's like, yeah, but if you were finishing second from last, you love a huge player pack.
Yep.
But when you finish first, then you're saying, no, I wish there was more payout. But nonetheless, so you're going to have a ridiculous payout. You're going to have even more money added. You donated $20,000 to St. Jude, and you're going to do 150% of that as well next year? $30,000? Is that what I heard?
Yeah, so the goal is to give St. Jude $30,000. $150,000 pro purse with a full field. As I look at the amateur payout, their players pack will be definitely the biggest in the country. I won't release it yet. I'll just wait a little longer for that. But like first place in MA1 is going to be $1,200 in merchandise money, which is just absurd. So even down to 25th place in MA1, still $200. So even the rest of the AM divisions have great payouts. The rest of the pro divisions, first place in pro grandmasters is $1,500. So we take care of all the divisions. The amateur payout will be $60,000. So I can't imagine another tournament paying out more than that for the amateur players. And then kind of maybe the craziest number actually. I saw an article out today about my event, or maybe it was out tonight, where Dana said I was a madman, and he's probably right. So because maybe the craziest number is our total amount of players is going to be 1,236.
What?
That's silly.
That's just dumb. That's just
a little
dumb.
bit.
So yeah, 1,236 players is going to be what we have for our field.
Okay, so last year you had a lot of different courses. You had people kind of, you had different divisions playing different days, different courses, all these different pools. How is it that you can fit 1,236, and what are you doing course wise?
Yeah, I mean, we're doing one round a day now with tee times. I honestly could fit more than that, but I don't want to start everybody at 7 a.m, and I don't want them finishing at dark. So the tee times will be between 8 and 2 p.m. every day for the most part, just in that range. So there's plenty of time to finish well before darkness and then go to other activities. So we're actually only using 8 courses this year. And so 8 times about 150, plus there's a couple short courses that we could fit a little more players to kind of even out the division sizes. So that's how we got to that number. So 8 times 150 is about 1,200 plus a few more. So we're adding a new course this year. and then not using 3 courses that we used last year. So the benefit for the amateur players is that they'll be able to play better courses. Not that they played bad courses last year, but they always say, oh, we want to play the courses that the top pro players play. You have to be a top pro player to play those courses. So
Yep.
general, this year they'll actually get the chance to play McNaughton. So because we will not be using that course for the MPO field. That'll probably come as a shock to some people, but with the Disc Golf Pro Tour, we want to have live coverage at every event for every course, and McNaughton does not have a cell signal that we can use. Also, McNaughton has a tough parking situation, no bathrooms, and compared to the other cities that support our event, it came down to a financial reason as well. But most importantly, there's no live coverage there. So the AMs will actually get to play McNaughton. So,
Which they should be very happy about. We know a lot of people are a really big fan of it.
Will be angry, but at the end of the day, we had very legitimate reasons for not using McNaughton. Contrary to what people think, I do usually have a reason for all the decisions that I make. I'm not.
So speaking of decision,
Make everybody happy, and that is absolutely the case. You just can't. Every decision that you make, I have a reason for. It's just I always don't say them, and I'm not going to say my reasons for every decision. But that one, I felt would probably be more contentious, so I decided to make people aware of that. So,
well, and speaking of decision making, one of the challenges and/or criticisms and accolades that you got certainly revolved around the temp course at Lake Eureka. What are some of the ways that's going to be addressed or adjusted for here in 2016?
So yeah, I'm gonna quadruple the amount of rope that we use
Oh,
there.
there
And
you
just
go.
kinda
Good idea.
even go more so on the rope.
Double stroke in distance.
Yes.
Every shot will have just mounds of rope. No. After the event happened, I let it sit for a while and kind of thought about it. We did some statistical analysis, which I just kind of wanted to be curious about. And then we did tweak the course. Actually, the changes have been posted online this evening, the new caddy guide. We obviously could make some other changes, but we worked with a different designer who I brought in to assist me. I've had other people take a look at it. So we eliminated 4 holes. We tweaked 5 more holes, and we added 4 new holes, obviously, because we eliminated 4 holes. We kind of made the stroke and distance holes more risk-reward friendly. So if you take the risk, there's more reward for doing so. I've already gotten messages tonight from people saying, wow, the changes look great. So, and we could still tweak going forward, but we definitely have tweaked the Lake Eureka course to be, I think, a lot better. Some holes just didn't work out last year, and we have fixed that. We also made a little adjustment at hole 5 at Northwood. That didn't work out the way I intended. So we definitely are making a few changes to the courses.
Live and learn.
But we will still have the ropes at Eureka, and there will still be a stroke and distance component. The course is not really changing that much besides 4 holes being taken away and the ropes kind of being adjusted to make it more risk reward. So
Okay. Well, and I think that's obviously one thing that the pros are going to be looking to hear and confirm when they're moving forward. Again, there was a lot of conversation and a lot of different directions, and everyone's got their different opinions and styles and things they liked or didn't like. So the best you can do is, take as much of that as you can and hopefully make adjustments that appease as many as you can, although they'll never appease everyone. And I'm not even going to say anything like I told you so about hole 5 at Northwood. I wouldn't say anything like that. We can just move on from that where I said eliminate all.
And that one, I didn't really do it to just try to kill people. But the hole actually is very dangerous when it's wet, and we had so much rain that I really didn't want players to try to smash their drive towards the green, and then you have shots going down the cliff. I mean, Jamie Mosier almost died a couple years ago at that course by doing that. So I was trying to make it safer, but at the end of the day, I'll just let people die. So
there
if
you
they
go.
Want to fall down the cliff.
That makes the rounds go faster.
The ultimate risk reward, really.
There is as much as it gets. So at the end of the day, I didn't really make the changes because people were complaining, because I'm confident that people will complain next year about something else. So I did it because I legitimately thought that they were good changes to make based on the shots that I saw being thrown and the strategies being taken. So, so I just want to make it more exciting for the players. I wouldn't make changes based on, pros complaining. In fact, I lost respect for a handful of pros who were complete jerks, throughout the process. And one in particular, who I won't name because I have class, even still sends me messages and just sent me one a few days ago. I almost posted it on Facebook just to call him out, but I decided not to. So I'm not making the changes because I got complaints. I'm making them because I think they were good decisions. So
Okay. Well, it's going to be a massive undertaking for sure. Obviously, we're going to have you back so you can give us some updates throughout. Just to throw it out there real quick, one of the questions, of course, is going to be when will people be able to register? And that is probably not till February or March-ish?
yeah, we're looking at just before the Memorial. I do anticipate, because of the amount of added cash and the payouts and the player packs and all the activities we have going on, I do think registration will fill even faster than last year if that's possible. So, we have players dinner, ice cream social, candy social, a glow event, some XC tiers, drive competitions, a big hole-in-one contest at the players' party where the prize is either going to be something crazy like $10,000 or maybe 1,000 discs. So we have a lot of extra side events that will excite people as well. And for the amateurs, they'll have the opportunity to use their payout money to buy online this year as well after the fact. So if they don't want to stick around, they won't have to. So
Sweet. Very cool.
Yeah, that's a great upgrade. I know a lot of amateur players like that for these large events, is not having to either go to another location or even just wait and hope you don't get something that's picked through, that you can go on and pick what you want. So I think that's a huge change, and that's going to be very well taken.
yeah, and I take back what I just said 2 minutes ago, and that I didn't listen to complaints because that was the only the big complaint from the amateurs. So I take back what I just said. I made that change because of the amount of amateurs that said we need to have this option. So
there's nothing wrong with listening to suggestions.
And with the with that, we'll be finishing earlier in the day because there will be no final nine. So because there's just tee times. There's no final nine, so the pros have 4 rounds, and then everybody else has 3 rounds. So
perfect, sweet. And
I believe Smashbox will probably be there. Is just if I
no,
guess. So,
I don't think we will because it sounds like I want to play this event.
Yes, you should.
So you're gonna have to find someone else to work the computer. I'm gonna go play the event.
What the dates again? Because I have
August 18th through the 21st for MPO, FPO. And then August 19th through the 21st for the age-protected pro divisions and the amateur divisions. And actually, we have a couple good blogs that featured a bunch of good information about the events. Average Disc Golf and All Things Disc Golf. They just posted blogs tonight with a bunch of more information. Our website already has the projected payouts for every division. It has the event schedule, and the course schedule is just being finalized here in the next week, so that'll be updated in the next week. So at lisopen.com.
Awesome. No, I guess you haven't set up registration, so you don't have any final or official participants. But what a segue to go ahead and say happy birthday to your reigning LIS champion in Simon Lizotte today. So Simon, I think you're over in Germany, and I think you're probably sleeping right now. But hope you had a great birthday, and
I'll be disappointed if I don't see some trick shot with a birthday cake and a disc.
Yes,
like the disc blowing out the candles is what I want to see. It's right
there. You go,
right there.
You
Simon,
just gave him the idea. Good one. Not bad, or something. All right. So anyway, happy birthday to Simon. He's your current and reigning Ledgestone Insurance champion. Now let me ask just something I thought I caught you say. Are MPO the only, as in the Open division, are they the only ones playing the 4 days and every other division plays 3? Or
this is subject to change. I was probably going to pose this question, but MPO and FPO will play 4 rounds.
Okay.
Start Thursday, and everybody else start Friday. I felt that it would be easier for some of the age-protected divisions to not have to play a 4-day event, only because most of them don't play disc golf for a living. So it's easier for the MPO players to start Thursday. That was my strategy and thoughts. I definitely can change that because I have a lot of time. But so that's the plan right now.
Okay, no, that's
I like it.
That's what I thought I heard you say. And when you're talking about playing for this much money and whatnot, having that extra day in there and having them play four rounds over 4 days is definitely not taxing like it could be. So
yeah, I as I said, I could make changes to that, and I'm happy to enlist the wonderful thoughts of you and Johnny V. But the plan right now is MPO, FPO Thursday, and then everybody else starts Friday. 1 round a day. So
okay.
And the only and just to clarify, the only division that will play Eureka is MPO. So it's designed as I would say a black level course actually. So I feel that the only division really that should be playing that course is probably MPO.
Okay. And then one of the quick questions, I'll answer it off the board because I know it for you, asked about tiered registration. Yeah, you're going to see Nate and a lot of other events move to a tiered registration service next year, system or setup, having certain, whether it's 1020 and above, and then 1,000 and above, and 960 and above, so on and so forth. I think you're going to see a lot of events move into that tiered registration setup. And, Glassblown has clearly already done it. I think you're going to see all of our really huge events go to that format, which makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I mean because we have so many MPO players, we're going to have a lot, close to 300. So it'll be one of the largest, if not the largest, MPO fields ever. I can just do one tier, so I'm probably just going to do 990 and above because that'll take care of.
Sure.
With that many spots available, I'm not going to get crazy and have 5 different tiers. So
sure, but it'll be of some sort though.
Yeah, it'll be 990 and above probably. So
okay. Awesome. Anything else you need to share with us before we let you go tonight?
As I said, excited to have Dana on board. I asked Terry, Johnny, if he wanted to be the assistant TD. He told me that he just wanted to be behind the camera, so he didn't want to help me. So he just kind of.
Terry doesn't want to be behind a camera. Terry wants to be next to the camera, next to the guy behind the camera.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I do appreciate it. It's just I think with Dana, especially being a little more local to you than I am, although it makes more sense. Plus, Dana doesn't really do much otherwise, from what I've heard, from what his reports weekly here show us.
Yeah.
So
he's got plenty of time.
I feel like UFC 194 is really going to be exciting. But I just have to say thanks again to Mike and Bob at Discraft. I wouldn't be able to give $150,000 pro purse and a monster AM player pack. It'll blow people away. I wouldn't be able to give the AM payout without their involvement. So support Discraft. They make a great product, and that's really driving forward. What we're doing for next year.
I'm assuming we're going to see some sort of fundraiser disc at some point.
Yeah,
something.
So
okay.
We're not going to release as many fundraiser discs as last year. We're just finishing kind of the program right now. It'll definitely be a lot less discs, but we definitely are. We have a plan for discs to do some fundraising that way. So
okay, no, and I was just gonna say, I mean, you can come on at another time and break that news, but I was gonna say when they do come out, everybody go out and buy one. Support this type of event. Nate is putting in thousands of hours into this event, and these are the type of events that people are dying to see. So please go ahead, no matter what it is, even if it's a disc you'll never throw, if it's a disc you hate, buy one, give it away, do whatever, just hang it on a wall, because these are the type of events we need to support.
Well, I appreciate that, and I've tried to get Discraft to make a disc called like the Heinold or the Ledgestone, and so
the Smashbox
or the Smashbox. So that's actually a cooler name. But unsurprisingly, Mike and Bob have kind of shot that one down consistently.
You let us talk to them. Get them on the podcast. We'll talk to them. We'll work some magic.
Yeah, we could even do like a Smashbox Tool Buzz. So that sounds cool. But they don't like my ideas for disc names. So they're coming out with their Ace Race disc here soon, and they have a few names and. I liked one name and they liked the other one. Let's just say they went with the one they liked. So because they're the smart people, so they're smart. I'm not. So
Well.
no, I'm just kidding. I liked their name. So
All right, Nate. Well, we appreciate. Oh, how's your mother doing?
wow.
It was, well, it was a legitimate question. Why is everybody laughing? I just wanted to know how your mom. We talked earlier. She helped decorate your house. She was a very helpful woman at the tournament and very kind and welcoming. I just want to know what your mother's doing.
I wonder when I was at Discraft too. Bob and Mike asked me the same question. So
Your
I have to
mother
say
is
that
She's very friendly.
She's a very wonderful
I
woman.
feel like
Yeah.
other podcasts would love to break whenever I have news, they would love to break this news. They would not mention my mother's.
All right. Well, you go talk to other podcasts. We'll get your mom on the air, and she'll talk to us. I mean,
Wow, I'm so glad that I didn't tell her about this. That I'm glad she's in bed.
She makes a mean sandwich. When we were at Nate's house, when he basically like the day you moved in, you guys had wonderful spread of subs and everything like that. It was delicious. Your mother is
I
very
forget
warming.
Were you? Let me just show somebody the couch. Oh yeah. You guys sat on those couches while I moved the stuff. And
Oh,
then I
you
fed
didn't
you.
move
Oh
anything.
please, we
Please.
helped move. I helped your dad move things into the basement.
We helped move as many things into your house as you did. All right. Meanwhile, you're making your wonderful
maybe I
mother do the
misremembered.
work.
Yeah,
Maybe there's details that I'm forgetting about. what
Exactly.
happened.
that's right.
So say hi to your mother for me. All right.
All
right.
I will consider that. So
All right. Well, thank you, Nate, and keep in touch, and we'll look forward to more updates, buddy.
sounds good. See ya.
All
Thanks,
right.
Nate.
Good night.
Yep.
It's just, you ask about someone's family and he gets all uppity. Who knew?
I don't know, but as I've said, she is a very, very nice woman. That when we were at Nate was having a little welcoming party as the tournament was just kicking off, and his mom, like the sweetheart she is, was just running around. Making sure all the food was set. Her and her grandma, or her mother, and running around making sure food was set and everybody was taken care of. And she's very warm and welcoming. I remember at one point she's like, "Oh, here's everything laid out for you if you're going to be here for the week." She was a great hostess, even though it was at Nate's house, but she was doing the real work.
Oh yeah.
I mean, come on. Anyway, so huge information from Nate. I don't want to say not surprising because of the way that they've...
it is surprising.
It's
surprising that he was able to go that much more above and beyond what he did last year. Had you told me, like, oh, we're matching what we did last year, we're going to have $120,000 in payout, first place is going to get $5,000 or $6,000 or whatever they got last year, I'd have been like, oh, cool, yeah, that's not surprising. You tell me that most things, he's giving away 150% more to St. Jude, I'm going to categorize that as a little more surprising. It's awesome.
It's very, very cool to hear that so much money is going to be... And I know last year, at one point, Nate was doing some fundraising for the St. Jude contribution that he was looking to make, and I don't think it quite hit the mark that he wanted it to. And he had written the rest of the money like out of his own checkbook to make sure that it covered the amount that they wanted to. So
Sure.
He's a man of his word and wants to get things done. So congrats to Nate and being part of the Disc Golf Pro Tour and obviously having such a collaboration with Discraft as well. And just a lot of good things going on. And Peoria, the entire Peoria area, when we think about how disc golf's going to get bigger, people need to realize events like this, events that bring in 1,200 and potentially 1,236 competitors, plus a few family, plus a few friends, and a few caddies. That economic impact, that's a big buzz phrase out there, but it's an important one because when you have that many people come to an area, especially like Peoria, they do so much for the economy. They, all those people in hotels, all those people eating the food and going to the gas stations and doing all their shopping and everything else, that has a huge impact. And there's fancy charts and grids and formulas out there for it. But
yeah, and if you want some of that information, I think the PDGA has some of that.
PDGA has it. Yep.
Brian, as we saw, if you don't follow Brian Graham on Facebook, he was out this past week at another convention, saying that there were 50 plus different
Organizations?
Not organizations, local areas and things looking to possibly put on PDGA events.
Mm-hmm.
So he has a lot of that information as far as the economic impact that a tournament of any given size can probably have on your area. So if you're interested in running an event, reach out to the PDGA. They can get you some of that information.
Yeah, and again, there's some magic formulas and whatnot, but I know as a number of years ago here in Wisconsin, when we talked about having around 500 or 600 competitors for the AM Worlds that were essentially here for a week.
They drool.
They were talking about somewhere between a $2 and $3 million economic impact to the local economy. So when you're talking about 1,200 for 4 to 6 days, you're almost talking 3 or 4 times that.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. So those are numbers that matter.
Yep.
Those are things that we need to look at and push as we move forward.
No surprise, the bigger the event, the more your local municipalities and stuff will get behind you. So,
Yeah.
So, I mean, it doesn't hurt to reach out to them for smaller events, but if you're thinking about throwing a blowout, get in contact with them because they can help kick things in.
And I'll say some cities are, I don't want to say desperate. Some cities are more aggressive about trying to get that. So here in Milwaukee, we're known as like the city of festivals. We have so many things going on. There's something going on every single weekend in Milwaukee. During the summer, hotels can be close to full. We don't need a tourism bump here in our city, but when you go to a smaller city like Rocky Mount, where we just were this last weekend, or you go to some of these, the Peoria area, that this many disc golfers can have such a huge impact because we're creating such a huge ripple by showing up and having a big successful event. So, if you're in a smaller town and you're looking to bring people in, and you can get them there for more than one day, reach out to your local CVB or Convention and Visitors Bureau and have a conversation with them. And there may even be grants. I know some states like Wisconsin actually have what's called a GEM grant, where you can apply to the state tourism department, and the tourism department can actually write you a check that can help you out with some of your tournament expenses and or marketing. So again, look into it at the local level. But there's some tourism money and some CVB money out there that can help. A lot of AM Worlds or Pro Worlds actually get grants from the Convention and Visitors Bureau because they know they're going to bring fill all these hotel rooms. So we see a lot of new disc golf courses go in as a direct result of hosting a Worlds because the CVB is willing to help kick back. So
here's a quick question. The board is arguing back and forth regarding whether if they're adding another $30,000 in payout, should number one
get more money?
Because last year they got $6,600, and Nate's saying this year they're going to get $7,000.
Sure.
Where do you think? Do you think paying out maybe 3 or 4 less spots and bumping that up to number one would do much difference? I don't think it'd make much of a difference. I know it might look better to some people, but what do you think?
I'm fine with as we call it, a flatter payout. I think it spreads the love and it makes more people happy, and it keeps more people touring and or on the road. And I've said this a lot of times in the past. If you start only paying the top 25%, we'll say 20%, 25%, even 30%. If you're only paying that top percentage, well, let's just say 25%. That's an argument a lot of people have made. You pay 25% of the field, and there's a ton of really good players there. That means very few people outside of your traveling best players in the world are going to get money, which from a competition standpoint sounds reasonable. But the problem is if you do that long enough, you're going to chase away all the people that traditionally, quote unquote, donate.
Correct.
You're going to chase away local Joe Pro, who's rated 970, 980. You're going to chase him away because if they're only paying 25% of the field, he's not going to show up and pay his $200 to play.
If they pay 60% of the field, people like AJ Risley might cash.
There you go. Yeah, AJ Risley might cash. And I know AJ's going to come back with, I finished way up higher than that. But
I know. No. It's like to needle him.
Yeah, because he's out on the board. But and you can go round and round about this argument all day long. But really, let's put it this way. If Paul Macbeth says he won $7,000 at a tournament, or he says he won $9,500, Does the media care?
No.
Is that really mean anything?
No, there's. I don't think it really matters until you start getting into the mid to high 5 digits. That people are like, oh, wow, you're one of the best. You won 40 grand this weekend, or
Sure.
something like that. But if you tell someone I'm one of the best in the world, man, I pulled in 8 grand this weekend, it's big to us, but it makes some things might feel small that way.
I just, and again, I see a little bit of the conversation going on. I can't follow it all, but if you're only paying out the top few, you're simply gonna chase away the bottom feeders, and I'm one of them. Johnny V's been one of them. You're gonna chase away those medium to lower level pros where they won't even compete at all. So pretty soon you're gonna be left with only, let's say, 50 really, really good players. And that's it. Just 50 of them.
And then 20 players that want to watch the really good players play.
and out of those 50, let's just say they're all rated over 1,000. If you could do some math, 25% of 50 is what? 12? 12, 20? Yeah, roughly 12. 12 or 13 people cash out of 50?
It's not a lot.
That's not a lot.
So,
and these are the 50 people that are supposed to be on tour. So, anyway, it's one way to look at it. It will be a debate that will rage on forever as to no, you won't. Players again. I shouldn't jump into this conversation halfway through, but yeah, you're just gonna chase them away. And again, we can talk about more of this a little bit later. But I don't know. Flat payout for now is the way to go, in my opinion. So. And I think even, Nate alluded to it. I think even some of our top players will agree with that.
I don't think there's many because all these guys know.
Any given weekend,
except for Macbeth, they could finish first. They could finish 12th because it's so tight up there, and does it really matter to them if they're most of them need the money.
Mm-hmm.
And if they have a chance to pull in, even if it's $500 or $600, as Nate's paying out so deep, they'll take it. I mean, that gets them to their next event. So I think you'll see, and especially with the Ledgestone, which is the quality of the players that are probably going to show up to this type of event, I think you're going to, all these guys know that any given weekend they could have. I mean, look at how Germ, just this past weekend, Germ drops a 970 rated round. And at the Ledgestone, that will knock him down into 15th or 20th place because all those guys they're all shooting 1,000 rated rounds.
Yeah.
Every one of those rounds. So knowing that they could have a weak round, I think at this point in our sport, it makes more sense to pay deeper. If we get to an area where suddenly we're paying 100% of the field, that's awesome. I don't think we're ever going to see it back to the 30, 35, 25%. I don't think it makes sense. So.
Yeah, we'll see how that continues to unfold throughout the years. Earlier, I spoke of other tours, and we talked about UC and some of the plans since our show last week. Last week, we had kind of guessed at the idea of who was going to potentially be released as the announcer. Your very first suggestion or guess at that was
Avery Jenkins,
and they announced it's going to be
Terry Miller.
No.
Oh, Avery Jenkins.
Avery Jenkins.
Congratulations to Avery on that. We've worked with Avery. We worked with him at the
amateur
Bowling Green
event
and
in 2014.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna say
we he might have got the Smashbox bump.
Yeah.
We tried and tested him. So we
didn't have him back, so we're
clearly,
another
if UC wants him, we didn't. Clearly we didn't need him. No, I almost called him AJ, but which you could, I suppose. But no, Avery's a solid pick. He's knowledgeable. He's very well spoken. I think he's gonna knock it out of the park. I don't know. Nobody knows exactly what they're gonna be doing yet, but I'm sure whatever it is, he's gonna be fine. So.
Yeah, so very cool. They, like you had just said, they didn't really announce exactly. They said he's co-announcing with Jamie Thomas, but they didn't get specific as to if that's recorded coverage, if that's live coverage. They didn't, dive into any of those details. So we'll be interested to see. exactly what their media plan is. Obviously, we've seen the insider show format. We've seen that at the European Open, and then we saw a few, the last few holes of live, and then obviously at the USDGC, they had the insider show every day, and then they had us covering the last 2 days of live. So we at this point have not had any conversation with them as to live coverage or Smashbox providing that in any capacity. So we're really unsure as to what they're doing. Obviously, whatever direction they go with it, we wish them the best of luck. My question is Avery missing out? Because clearly he's going to play other disc golf. He's talked about that. He's going to continue to play. But he's not going to be playing in these events that he's, presumably. Well, we don't know that fully.
That's true, because if it's
recorded.
If it's recorded, let's just say it's not live. That's not eliminating him from actually playing.
Okay,
so,
but let's just say
let's pretend it's live and pretend Avery's doing commentary. Yeah, I mean, I think he's fought the good fight for 10 years now. He's usually one of the guys that, I'm not calling him a complainer, but he's one to point out some of the things that he would like to see different in courses. He'll tell you when it's like, this tee pad is 3 feet long. What's going on? It's lopsided or something. Mm-hmm. He's very particular, and rightfully so, that he wants our top events to have the amenities and the quality that a top event entails. And now when we're finally probably getting this with UC, he's unfortunately not going to be able to
reap those benefits
because he's going to be talking about it.
Yeah, no,
much like you, ripped out of the prime of your career to do commentary.
Here I am. Yes, and that was the first thing that I had thought is Avery's been really specific and really trying to raise the bar at events for our pros, and now he's actually going to be commentating on them versus playing in them. So. But from all other accounts, there's a lot of questions. That was the first thing people said, "Oh, are you done playing? Are you done playing?" No, he's just not going to play in those specific events.
Yeah,
is what it sounds like.
And we had dinner with him earlier this year, and
a few weeks ago.
Yeah, a few weeks ago. I talked to him afterwards, and he had said that, and I don't know if he knew anything at that point, but he had said that he was going to eventually, actually next year, slow down a little bit. Now with the family in tow and whatnot, he knew that. At his advanced age
of 37,
that it's time to move into other aspects of the sport, and he's really excited about that. So, and this is a kind of a natural progression for him. He's a world champion. He's kind of, if you think about if you look at ESPN and watch any of those live or halftime shows, it's usually a professional broadcaster, maybe a color guy, and then like professional athletes from the sport, probably some sort of world champion, and Avery fits that bill. So,
well, and according to one of the remarks I read out there, he's good looking and he's not me. So I guess somebody
that's true.
He's dialed in. If that's all the criteria took, I would say that's some pretty low criteria. But someone I saw posted and said, well, there's a couple really good things about this. One, and they listed some other frivolous thing. 2, he's actually good looking, which, okay. I don't know if that's a slight on me or not, because I'm not the only commentator. And then 3, though, was he's not the disc golf guy.
Yeah, well.
Well, he certainly is not.
Yep.
So we got that covered and clarified. He is not the disc golf guy.
I'm actually curious to see if they do live. I want to hear how it works. I'm curious about the whole backside of the production more so than anything else. But I do want to hear Avery's live commentary takes. I want to hear, is it going to be how they're going to do it? Are they going to have someone following the camera? Are they going to have someone do that's only going to be kind of talking temporary, and they're going to kick back to a booth? Or because there's pros and cons to all of that and how that's going to work. And is Avery going to get caught up in some of the same things that we've seen every other commentary get caught up, maybe repeating themselves or things like that? I mean, it's a difficult game to get used to. So,
well, and one's got to assume, and it's going to continue to develop, and we're going to see how everyone plays out, and including us here at Smashbox. One's going to assume he's going to have a huge advantage to what's been done before in that he's not running anything on the production side of things either, which is going to be nice for him. There are days, clearly, I would be envious if I could just show up to the course, put on a set of, headset and walk out with a microphone and be like, that's all I have to worry about.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that's what Avery is going to walk into, because they've got this. They've got a relatively,
I suppose with Jamie Thomas and
a pretty diverse team of a lot of talented individuals. I'm guessing he can put on a headset, get mic'd up, and he's got to talk disc golf.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to worry about talking to you or
True.
making sure our stream is working or doing one of a million other things. And I'm not complaining or whining at all, but he's going to have a lot more backing right off the get-go than probably we've ever had. So hopefully he's going to be set up right off the bat with some really good advantages, and I expect nothing but
less than
good stuff
perfection.
from them. Yeah, I expect nothing but good stuff from them. There's no reason why they shouldn't be putting out a really good quality product.
They always have, so.
So we'll see some of that, and it should be exciting. In the end, all disc golf fans win here, so there's really nothing to lose by that. So
what really comes down to is me being smart. I'm basically, I can basically tell the future.
Yes,
that's what it comes down to.
Pretty much. I would say that's pretty much what you're saying.
What else do you have on your little list of?
I just jotted down a few notes.
Kind of a slow week for disc golf. I mean, we got all those B tiers and whatnot, but not a lot of news. One of the things, I guess, I don't know if it's on your list or not. There was a lot of feedback from our
previous week
because
of our 1-year anniversary.
Not so much.
Well, we got a lot of kudos for that, so thank you.
Celebrating 1 year. Thanks everybody for following. No, our after show, it kind of sprouted up some conversations, especially regarding the upcoming year, with players, and maybe changing.
Maybe not.
But there are at least 2 to 3 different threads out there on Disc Golf Course Review.
Okay.
And I saw something on Reddit about players possibly switching. Paige had said something off the cuff about, Prodigy. And she didn't say one way or the other.
No.
She just made a joke about something, and people are reading into it. I don't know any more than anybody else, but I do know that it did that particular comment sparked a huge thread as far as other players. Like,
sure,
who else are we going to see move? Why
and
when?
What are they getting?
How? Is it going to be announced at the beginning of the year? Is it going to be announced, more towards the first NT? When can people announce? And then there's tons of speculation out there.
Yeah, mostly speculation.
It's 99.9% speculation from what's out on the board. So I just thought I got a huge kick out of that. Was that one of Paige's offhanded remarks has completely sparked a huge thread on many different disc golf courses. It sparked an article on one of was it Average Disc Golf?
Average Disc Golf, yep.
Average Disc Golf about people changing manufacturers. I got a good kick out of it.
And it's funny, as you just said, she actually never mentioned the word Prodigy.
No.
It was, again, the references that people are either making on their own or concluding on their own. I had asked if she wanted to plug a bag, blah, blah, blah. And then she just said, anything can happen in 2016. And by that, anything could be anything. She could be 99% owner of Prodigy in 2016.
She could.
There's a lot of things that could happen. Now, I will say on Thursday, as I was flying out to North Carolina, Paige and I had a really brief conversation. Brief, maybe not. We had a conversation on Thursday, and she thanked us, for her time on the show. And she said that if she has any, how did she ultimately word it? Basically, if she has any news, she'll be glad to come here to Smashbox to talk about it.
Awesome.
So, and Paige has been an amazing friend of the show. She's someone I've always liked and supported from day one since she came onto the scene. We obviously know that her and Madison make for a funny dynamic duo, as they've been entertaining thousands. So, Paige, we wish you the best of luck with whatever you're doing.
I'm watching our web board, and there's all sorts of speculation now where she's going, and she's definitely going here and not here, and nobody knows. But I find it funny that two of our top pros, in Dana Vici, Eric McCabe, just put a bunch of ellipses. Yeah. More or less not confirming or denying anything. Dana, who's a Prodigy player, currently.
Yeah. Jordan Castro, who's currently not a Prodigy player.
I'm going to start speculating. Eric McCabe, who's currently Dynamic Disc. Who knows?
Yeah.
Anything can happen in 2016.
Dan Harbeck, who currently just sponsors us.
Yes, thank you, Dan.
Thank you, Dan.
AJ Risley, who's currently a Legacy player.
Yeah, much drama.
I'm just saying. I mean,
yeah, look at all
who
you
knows?
Guys. So much drama. So I will also chime in and follow that up regarding Paige and that entire conversation. If you're a pro, and I think we talked about this last year at one point in our early stages of our podcasting.
Yeah.
If you're a pro and you feel like you want to make any kind of special announcement that's truly newsworthy,
yeah, about anything.
I don't care about your new car that maybe you just bought, but if you have something
Macbeth's car looks pretty sweet.
If you have something truly newsworthy that you would like to share or maybe exclusively break right here on Smashbox, reach out to us. We will certainly get you on the show, whether it's a full-blown interview or a quick check-in. We'd love to be your platform. So reach out to us.
Eric McCabe has announced he's leaving Answer Man for Smashbox.
Oh, yeah. See, and the funny part about that is we didn't even ask him, and he wants to do it anyway.
I know. Who's he kicking out? You or me? I can only fit 2 boxes on the screen. No, I could do 3. We'll have to do maybe a quad box now.
Yeah. Eric McCabe.
All we got to do is work on Bobby now, because we know Bobby does all the work.
Answer box.
Yeah.
Answering Smashbox. I don't know. We have to rename it.
Well, he's not even needed anymore because I was listening to their last Answer Man, and they've got Paige Bjerkes now.
Oh,
I mean, it's going to be the Disc Golf Answer Woman.
Yeah. Why ask EMAC?
Yeah. No, it's going to be Ask Paige.
All right. Well, okay.
Welcome to the family, EMAC.
Welcome.
There's a spot almost between us if you can fit.
Yep. Would he be like Littler Spoon? Little? I don't know. I'd have to think about that one. Anyway, so if you're a pro or your company, and this goes for companies as well, like Nate or big events, if you have something truly important or super exciting that the disc golf community you feel like will really care about, I guess we'll have to be kind of that gateway, a little bit of the gatekeeper there, but let us know. We'd love to have you on the show. We can keep it a secret till you show up, and then we can let everyone know what's going on here. And we'd love to hear it.
And Eric would help us out in our future doubles event, our media doubles event. Eric would be
if it's us 3 against Bobby.
Yes, Bobby and Paige.
Oh, okay.
So,
yes, then we definitely
that would help us out.
We should be pretty easy to do. Anyway, so we would love to have you.
We get Dana too, actually. So, yeah. That's nice.
When are we gonna have Scott Stokely on? That's a good question. We should probably just reach out to him, see what would make good for him to join us. I know he's always got stuff going on.
He's got a whole tour coming up. I think this winter. He's definitely not shy about putting his stuff out on Facebook. So good for him. He's a master of promotion.
One of the details that we saw come in from this weekend. Congratulations! The Waterloo Disc Golf Club in Austin, Texas, has now raised a combined $100,000 in donations for the Ronald McDonald House Charities of Central Texas.
Awesome.
So there's an article. There's a couple articles out there, I believe. If you want to go out and find those, go out to pdga.com, do a little searching around. But over $100,000 raised. And those, we've talked about the St. Jude event. We've talked about what Nate and others are doing. And those are some serious numbers. So congratulations. And keep doing what you guys are doing, because that's tremendous. That's awesome to see that.
Eric was saying that in this last rating, Bobby's rating went up 100 points.
To
I don't know, but I still don't think he's at 900.
Oh,
I'm not even joking. So, but we love Bobby. We're really tight with Bobby. He's
bring
a
it,
good
Bobby.
Guy. Yeah. Anyway, bring it, Bobby.
And again, I talked about announcements. If you want to break them, if you're switching sponsors, we'd love to have you.
I'm sure your sponsor would love the extra plug as
Yeah.
well. So
if you're switching sponsors in your and don't say, oh, switching from my mom to my dad this year, that doesn't count. If we're talking about someone who's out there and sponsored by a company, and we'd love to hear your story. Love to hear what's going on, and we'd love to hear you bash your previous company. I'm just kidding.
that always makes for good views. People like that.
It would be funny if you had like 4 or 5 different people, and they all bashed their previous company, but we had one from each, so everybody ultimately gets bashed. Yeah, they wouldn't do that if they're smart.
No,
they wouldn't do that.
They won't do that. Mostly our disc golf pros are pretty media savvy as when it comes to things like that. So
some a little more than others.
Yep, mostly.
So yes, most of them are though. Announcing Michael Gibney, who just
Michael Gibney says that announcing sponsorship from unsponsored players could be a cool short segment. So I don't know if he means like unsponsored getting sponsored.
Yeah.
So that would be kind of cool.
Have we discussed the new disc that's out now?
The Ozone Andro 1.
I think we did.
I'm
actually,
like Magic right here. This is the Proto Andro 1 that I have. We haven't really talked about the new one. I know they're releasing the new their new version, their updated spec. This is actually, I don't believe this is PDGA approved because of the just the way it was, because of the Proto, but I'm on their Kickstarter list, so I get all those info. So no, we haven't really talked about it, but I'll be curious to see what else they have.
And that goes hand in hand, as always. If you want to send us stuff to give away, that would be cool. If you want to send us stuff, a lot of people say, "Oh, you guys should do giveaways," and I always think you should give me lottery tickets. Like I don't. It's just funny that that's part of. We know the great guys over at the Disc Golf Show. They have some sponsorship, and then therefore they turn around and give their stuff away.
Awesome.
We can do that as well. If somebody wants to give us stuff to give away, that's something that we could talk about.
We haven't really actively reached out to anybody.
We really haven't. We've been hesitant to do so, but now that we're a year in,
game on.
Game on. Now we want you to give us a ton of stuff. So if there's something you want us to give away, we could probably find a way to do it. So send it in, tell us what you're doing, and we'd be glad to make something happen.
Emax says he'll send us some discs to give away.
Can we send Smash? Absolutely.
Yeah, we heard. Anyone can send Smashbox stuff to give away. And Emac, we heard Bobby throwing shade at you via Periscope today. You were sitting on my couch and Bobby was saying that you were already out hitting the links, testing out new plastic, that you didn't do a lot. I think that's what I heard.
In the Periscope, I think he said that Emac gets to take them out there.
Those might not have been his exact words, but more or less. So,
give us some Disc Golf Answer Man discs to give away. We'll give them away.
Yeah, we don't care.
We'll promote other podcasts. We don't care.
Why not?
We're like that.
We're family.
Yeah, we're nice like that. That sounds like a plan. Halloween candy to give away. I'm not sure if that's such a good idea. Was there any Halloween horror stories this year? Did you see of any?
No.
Like
there never
cocaine or razor blades, anything in the...
Do you know that those are all urban legends?
Okay.
That there is never... I take it back. I believe there was one recorded incident of someone putting like a needle or something in candy, and if I'm going to screw this up, but if I remember correctly, he had done it for attention, and that it's like it's an urban legend more or less, that it's never truly happened in like a public environment. I believe that's what I heard. So it's just one of those things that as a kid you're always plugged into.
Well, and that you have to go to the hospital and you get to get all your candy x-rayed or something like that.
Yeah.
AJ Risley asked if we're gonna have hair gel giveaways. Clearly, AJ, I've now switched it up. I've moved. One of my picks tonight was going to be some hair putty, but I decided to go against it. I've been informed that the wet look isn't in anymore, so I'm trying out some different styles, even though I need a haircut now. But that's more to come maybe in the after show. Was there a huge, not here, there was a syringe in my friend's bag back in 92. Now, did they put a syringe right into the bag, or did they put a syringe or something into the candy?
Yeah, I don't know.
I guess that'd be an easy way to do it. Just drop one right into the bag when the kids aren't looking, and then the kid goes in to get his candy, and boom, Charlie Sheen, you've got AIDS.
Yeah. That was like always the thing. This is all after show stuff we should be
Yeah, it
talking
really
about.
is.
But not reaching into telephone check for change and people put needles in there and stuff like that. So
all that ridiculous stuff.
But-
all right, let me see if I got anything on the list.
what else
that's
do you have on the
worth,
list before we can get to our nonsense?
One of the conversations that was had about getting the Vegas footage out, I actually have Vegas footage very well put together, except for the scores. So I've reached out to the TD. I need the scores to put up in between holes. Otherwise, I have actually the entire second round. I've already started on the third round. I'm super excited to actually roll this out. I did a lot of work over the weekend, even though I was filming at another event. So Legacy, thank you guys. I'm just waiting on a couple scorecards to wrap up those. I'd like to. I wanted to get them out even today, so I could say here they are. They're ready to go. But I'm waiting on scorecards from the Vegas Disc Golf Club. So once they can get me a few pictures of the scorecards, I'm gonna have some Vegas footage to release, and then immediately following the Vegas footage, I'm gonna be able to release the Hyzer Chuck Connelly footage from this weekend.
Awesome.
So I'm kind of keeping it in that order. So plenty of footage. I've noticed that it seems to be kind of a lack of footage that's kind of slowly rolling out as new stuff because we have so many less events happening. Not here on my computer. I've got a lot of backlog stuff that I still feel like can be released. It maybe wasn't, urgent at the moment, but I've got a lot of good stuff here for the off season. So, look for that. All right, let's. I've got a pick for once.
Do
you?
I can probably come up with something. You
All right.
first, then.
So there's been a lot of talk regarding the Netflix original show, Master of None.
Yep, the
With-
Aziz Ansari.
Aziz Ansari, who I'm personally a big fan of.
We saw him live together.
We've seen him live. I think I've seen him one other time. I generally find him pretty funny. I don't know what that does or doesn't say about my sense of humor, but I'm a big fan of him. I think he's pretty funny. I'm a big fan of stand-up comics live to begin with. And so I'm a big fan. And there was a lot of good reviews about the show.
Everyone's saying it's very good. It's in my queue to watch.
Well, what's the term? Binge watched?
You binge watched
I binge watched
the whole season?
the whole season.
Because there's 10 episodes at a half hour apiece,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. So it's
fun.
it was funny. I was doing it while I was editing.
Okay.
Anyway, so I'm at home in the living room working on my editing and watching the show. And it's probably like this, I think, could be said of a lot of different series throughout the years. It started out, I felt like, a little slow. Maybe the first one or two, maybe even 3 episodes. And then I had finally a little bit more of the storyline really developed. And I still don't think it's great.
Really?
I think it's, at best, it's good.
Okay.
I'm not sitting at the edge of my seat, even though I just did.
So this
watch
isn't
it
even
all.
a pick. This is like a review.
Yeah, it's a little bit. I mean, I guess it's a pick. I wanted to pick it and talk about it because so many other people have discussed it and given it such good, said it's so great. I'm a huge Aziz Ansari fan, and I'm just to it.
Okay.
It's very consumable at, like I said, 1 season, 10 episodes right now, so it's very consumable. Digestible is, I guess, maybe the better word I'm looking for, but it's not amazing. I expect funnier and better, and maybe we'll see that in the next season, but
well, I'm really looking forward to watching it now because it's in my queue, and it's just one of those things I have to decide. It's the ultimate decision. Like, do I start watching this with my wife? Because if I don't, then I can binge through them quickly.
Yeah.
If not, then it's like, okay, I have to wait for her. We have to find a time amongst some of the other shows that we watch, and it's when do we sprinkle that in? So if I can, maybe I can burn through those on my own. We'll see.
Yeah.
Nice.
So anyway, call it a pick, call it a review. I think the reason why I wanted to talk about it is because so many others were talking about it, and I don't know. I'll be excited to see if season 2 is better, see if they continue it. But like you said, a lot of people are talking about how great it is.
Yeah, but a lot of people are talking that it's very good. So.
Yeah, which I don't quite see that.
Netflix
So,
is knocking it out of the park right now. There's a lot of stuff I'm waiting to watch.
such as?
Jessica Jones is coming out, which is a Marvel thing. It's going to fit into the whole Daredevil universe and the Marvel universe in general. This isn't Netflix, but this is Amazon. There is The Man in the High Castle, which is it's based on a science fiction book from Philip K. Dick about what would have happened had we not won World War II. United States is divided in half Russia, half China. Half Russian, half Japanese, and how that works out. The first 2 episodes are already out there, and from the clips I've seen, I've waited to watch it. It looks really good. So, and these are all coming out like in the next 2 or 3 days.
Oh, snap.
So that's a lot of stuff I want to watch. Whatever. But my pick is going to be a video game, which I haven't sat down and purchased a video game for myself in probably, we'll say 4 or 5 years. I've got a Wii U upstairs that I usually, me and the boy play. I got Mario Kart, and those are all a lot of fun. But nowadays when I play upstairs, it's usually with Mason. And I bought, because of awesome reviews, I bought Fallout 4. And I've never played another Fallout game. I guess they're all pretty good. This one is a lot of fun. More or less, it's called, I'm going to explain some video game stuff to you. It's like an open world concept, so to speak. So imagine like your first person shooter, but it's an entire it's a city, but it's an entire open world. You can go wherever you want, do whatever you want, whenever you want. You've completed these different quests and you play these different things, and it's more or less a first person shooter that you can build up cities, and you've got settlers and stuff like that, and you can make your character better. But I'm about, I don't know, 10 hours in total over the past 2 weeks or so, and I play down here at night occasionally. Maybe I'll stream it sometime. So but no, it's fun. There's some of the reviews I've heard about it are it's very last gen as far as the graphics go, but honestly, when you haven't purchased a video game since probably a PC video game since Portal 2, which is like 10 years old, you don't know what last gen is. So it all looks really good to me, and I actually use our streaming computer to do that because it's got a nice video card in it, so we can do it. So, and I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying a couple things. One, the game itself is a really good story, and second of all, I'm enjoying actually playing a game, which I haven't done forever. Like just sitting down and not being bothered to no, Dad, slow down, help me, I'm stuck in a corner. Just being able to sit here and just shoot modified mutant aliens for a while. It's different. So
Quite a badass.
I am. Look out.
Are you ever too old for video games?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I used to think that as a kid, my dad would sit and play. At the time, it was Mario or Street Fighter with us. And I used to think like, oh, my dad's cool because he's like, in his 30s or 40s, and he's playing video games with us. And now that I'm hitting that age, I'm thinking like, I grew up with it though. So I don't think you're ever too old. But get off my lawn, kids.
Alrighty. Well, there you go. There's a couple of picks, kinda. I don't think I spoiled. Somebody had said earlier, I don't know if it was Wade or someone else said that I spoiled that I had spoiled it with what I was talking about with regard to Master of None. I just said I thought the first few episodes were a little slower. I didn't actually talk anything about the storyline.
There's nothing about the storyline.
Like I said, I just felt the first few episodes were a little slow, and then I think the storyline picked up a little bit more. That's that's how I feel. So I don't know if that's a spoiler.
Yeah, I'm actually
now. When I tell you that Aziz in the 9th episode, actually,
no, he dies. He's a ghost the rest of the time. Someone had said something about video games and wasting time, and yeah, it is. It's a big waste of time, and I've got no problem because it's an entertainment. It's no more of a waste of time than going to a movie. No more of a waste of time than anything else. And what somebody else, Wade, says is, I'm looking forward to it because we're going to get to that time where it's dark at 5 o'clock, and Friday we're supposed to get snow.
Oh, really?
And I don't know how long it's going to hang, if it's just a dusting or what, but it's getting to that point where it's like, oh, great, I don't want to go outside.
Yeah.
Except to shovel or snow blow. So I've got no problems with me wasting my life away.
Yeah. Okay.
I waste hours every Tuesday night.
I know, and I was
here.
going to say, and you guys are wasting lots of time with us right now.
So
all of our viewers out there.
But we love you.
And I'll again say thank you to all of the amazing people that reached out to me when I was down at the Spike Hyzer event. Literally dozens of people had come up and said that they really enjoy the shows, they enjoy the podcast, they enjoy whatever it is that we're doing, or the live shows, or my recorded disc golf guy work, whatever it is. People had continued to come up and say that they really enjoyed it. So we're thankful. We're doing it for you. We enjoy ourselves some disc golf, but we're ultimately doing it so everyone else can enjoy it. In fact, I had a 13. I think he was 13. It was a pretty adorable moment. It was during the final round. I'm filming. He kind of looks at me. I see a little bit of me in him from 20 years ago. He looks at me and he's like, "You're the disc golf guy, right?" I'm like, "Yep, that's me." He's like, "Oh, awesome, man. Thanks." I said, "Yeah, no problem." And a few holes later, he's like, "You know what's really cool is you get to see all these guys play live. You get to see them, watch all this disc golf like live, but then you record it and you put it up on YouTube, and we all benefit from that." That's like this little 13-year-old said. He said, "We all benefit from that." I'm like, "You're welcome." And he's like, "Yeah, last time I checked, you had like or no, he didn't say last time. He said, "Yeah, you have like 13,085 subscribers." I was like, "Yeah, pretty cool." And I know he must have literally checked minutes ago, because I had just reached 13,085 or 80 earlier in the day or something. So he literally just checked minutes ago. And then I said something about, do you, because he was walking around with an, some kind of phone device recording most of the shots. And I had to elbow him a couple times, get this little kid. No, I'm just kidding. But he was walking around, and I said, "Oh, do you have a YouTube channel?" And he's like, "Yeah, I do." And he's like, "I subscribe to yours." I'm like, "Cool, thanks." And I said, what do you put up on, you put videos up?" He said, "Yeah." And so what do you put up? And he's like, "Mostly video games." I think he said Minecraft.
Sure.
He's like,
that's
"Mostly Minecraft." I'm like, "All right, cool." So,
as we've said.
Oh yeah,
the
I
guy,
could be making more money doing bad Minecraft videos.
Yeah, we could definitely
probably
be making more money doing Minecraft videos than what we're doing now. So
yeah, it was. So anyway, it was awesome. Yeah, like I said, it's even this little 13-year-old. I think his dad was out there walking along as well, who was very gracious and appreciative of our efforts. So we're glad to be doing it, and just stay out of my shot next time, kid. I'm not. I need to get the shot.
No, we got to train him.
No,
he could be
I
a future employee.
He could be our roving cameraman. Terry, do you make money off of YouTube? We'll talk about some of that stuff in the after show.
Yeah, stick around. We'll hang out for a little bit and talkity talk.
All right. So, as always, it's here we are, year 2. We're glad to be here. We've got some amazing things lined up this year.
Are we going to be better in season 2?
Probably not.
All right.
We'll say we are, but we got some amazing things lined up. You're still going to be disappointed sometimes, I bet. But we'll try to minimize our disappointments to you, but sometime or another you will be. So for everyone out there, thank you guys for tuning in tonight. We got to thank Dana Vici for giving us our stats. We've got to thank all of our Smashies online, always chiming in. We love most of it. Thank you guys for chiming in. Who else did we have here tonight?
Thanks, Nate.
Nate Heinold. I hope everything's doing well with him and his mom. And the Ledgestone for 2016. That's going to be an amazing event where him and Discraft, the rest of the crew, are going to assure us of that. So for Johnny V and myself, that's Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy, Chuck Connelly, and everyone else. That was podcast 62. We'll see you guys next week when you, in fact, step inside the Smash Box. And after show,
we're back. We're back.
We are here for the after show, which means time for a swig of the dew.
Time for the straight vodka. No,
yeah,
I'm saying it's water.
I was going to say, plenty of people this weekend would have certainly thought that might have been some moonshine that was maybe not passed around.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So.
All right. All right. Let's see if we can get to a little bit. So, let me first start here. Johnny V, Terry Miller. We're here for the Smashbox TV podcast number 62 after show. This is the time where we let down. I don't know if we let down our guard anymore, but things are a little less structured.
We answer any questions that usually come on the board.
Not all of them, but some of them.
Well, we answer any of them, not always honestly. No, I'm just kidding.
We address them. I don't know if we answer them.
Good. Yes, we address them. The after box.
Yes. So this is a little bit more casual. We expect and hope for some interaction on our live chat board that's taking place right on our YouTube page. So if you're listening in afterwards, that's where a lot of this conversation and fodder starts, and we're just glad you guys could be here. So this is the after show.
So the first question is, do you make any money off of YouTube, Terry?
Booyah! Short answer is yes. I can and do make a little bit of money off of YouTube. So every time I put up a video, at some point you'll see a little box come up that's advertising everything from Doritos to Ford trucks to sometimes I think I've even seen like a dynamic disc or somebody's commercials. I know I've seen a disc golf commercial at one time or another, a disc golf ad.
Oh, sure.
Actually pop up. So when those little ads pop up, and depending on how long you watch for and so on and so forth.
We should totally have YouTube ads for Smashbox so we pop up on everybody else's videos.
Or on the Disc Golf Answer Man.
No, they don't do YouTube.
Oh, yeah,
but
that's right.
No, but all the other YouTube guys who monetize, then we would pop up on their videos.
So I've never said this because I think they explicitly tell you not to, but if you want to click on those ads, that gets me like a half of a fraction of a quarter percentage of a penny. If you actually click on them, once you close them, I think it doesn't do me as much good. But if you ever click on any of the ads that ever pop up on any of my YouTube videos, that's awesome. I appreciate it. And you click on it and then even exit out a second later. But that's how, that's how YouTube, they call that monetizing. And so what can happen is YouTube asks you if you want to have ads to be allowed on your run during your videos. You say yes, and then the longer those ads run and the more often they run, the more you can pay. There's no special formula. They purposely don't release that to the general public. There's all sorts of crazy metrics and analytics that go behind it, but it is literally fractions of percentages of quarter pennies that they pay you. I mean, it takes a lot of views and a lot of time in order for any real money to be generated. And one very interesting note is there can never be any copyrighted content. So if you have a copyrighted, you're never going to hear me have a Taylor Swift song playing during one of my videos, because they actually match it. There's algorithms out there that match up with that, and then that void you of earning any money. So instead of making $4, in a year on a single video, I'd make $0. So people like Brody Smith, people that have hundreds of thousands and millions of subscribers, along with millions of views, can make millions of dollars. In fact, I was just looking at YouTube's top earners, like the top 10 or 15 earners in YouTube. There are literally people making millions of dollars on YouTube. And when you have that many subscribers and that many views, you can make money. So when Brody Smith puts out a video that says, hey guys, how's everyone doing? Here's my new trick shot video will be up tomorrow morning, and I'm picking my nose. He just made a few $1,000s.
Speaking of Brody, did you hear the big news?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. And for those that don't know, it was announced that Brody Smith is going to be on The Amazing Race with somebody else who I don't know, Kirk Gibson. I don't know if he is another pro Frisbee player, as they call them. So I believe he's an ultimate player. So both those guys are going to be on The Amazing Race this season. Mm-hmm. So it might be, I haven't tuned into The Amazing Race in a couple of years. My wife and I were avid watchers for a little while. We'd usually watch it it was funny because we'd watch it before we had kids. We'd watch it while we played cards and video games, and not video games, but cards and stuff in different games. So, yeah. So that's interesting enough.
Yep. Brody Smith's just killing it out there with everything that he's doing.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Couple of questions. Top players of the game: best putter, best driver, best advocate, best unknown. That's a little bigger, deeper question. Maybe we'll come back to that one. Thank you for the plastic, Wade says. Thank you for supporting us over here at Smashbox, Wade. We appreciate it. Jordan getting a custom stamp for 2016.
I did chuckle at that because Jordan said, just like whatever else, like, you never know what's going to happen in 2016.
Okay. Who will be the first major sponsor to take a chance on disc golf? I mean, again, we'll say major is a relative term, and we talked a few weeks ago about who we'd like to see. I mean, even people like over with what UC and those guys were doing, and they had some tie to Mercedes, I believe it was. What does that really mean? And Paul Macbeth has had some conversations with a Red Bull in the past, and is that just a regional rep or is that a worldwide rep? There's a lot of we've seen Budweiser sponsor some things, but it was a regional distribution version of Budweiser, so it's going to be tough to see before. I mean, Keen, to me,
Keen's a major.
I think Keen is one of the single best and largest sponsors that we've seen. They may not be, handing out hundreds of thousands of dollars, but the way they've supported disc golf and Keen being an actual household name brand, I think that sometimes even gets lost in the mix. And you can argue that they're your favorite pair of shoes or not, but the fact is they're sponsoring and supporting disc golf, and I think that personally is really huge.
One of the questions is to Terry is, does ad blocker deny you payments from YouTube? And the answer to that is yes.
Yes.
If you're not seeing an ad pop up at the bottom of YouTube, then that view doesn't.
You are taking food out of my children's mouths. That's what you're doing.
I'm fine with that.
Okay.
I have ad blockers on. I don't get any
Jerk.
ads or YouTube on YouTube either.
So
That's the way I roll.
Yeah. So that's yeah. I'm trying to read down the board. What else is going on?
Would you be open to selling your voice or likeness if you got approached for a disc golf video game?
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Show me the money.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Be like the Jim Nance of EA Sports video game disc golf,
and
or
even way more than any financial compensation, which would be awesome. Just to have a little piece in whatever project that is sounds really cool and appealing. More so, I mean, yeah, getting paid would be even neater. But just to have any part in a legitimate game
Sure.
and doing something of that nature, I think it would be an awesome learning experience for sure. Yeah, that would be pretty cool. Let's see. You should mention the video that went viral from. I don't know that a video went viral. Otherwise, I would have probably heard about it, and it's not ringing a bell. So I'm not going to give the free plug if I don't know what you're referencing. Why don't you send me a private message and we'll see if I should be plugging that or not. Head over to, well, did you say 200,000 views? Oh, okay. Are you talking about the kid dancing on Ellen? Is that what you're talking about? Anyway.
I don't know. Michael Gibney says, I think he means, what is myself background in disc golf? It's his disc. It took me like 3 reads to figure out what that meant. I was a player.
Mm-hmm.
I was a decent advanced player here in the state. I've traveled around with Terry quite a few. Went to a bunch of different worlds. In general, my background is tech related. So and in general nerdery. So,
you don't have a master's in geekery or nerdery?
Not quite. I'm working on it.
Okay.
I think I need. I'm trying to think what my nerdery still where I lack in my nerd cred. I haven't been much into video games lately.
No,
so
that could up your game.
Yeah, I don't own an Xbox 4 or Xbox One or a PS4.
Why are they calling it the Xbox One? All I know is someone said
it went from a Xbox to Xbox 360. Or Xbox 2, Xbox 360, then Xbox One.
All I know,
I think because it's the one thing you need is what they're.
Okay, because someone posted this week, and again, I'm not into that nerdy geeky stuff with no time. No, but no, someone just posted, "Oh, I've got an Xbox One," and I was thinking, like, and you're bragging about that? Why? Assuming it was an old one.
No, that was the original Xbox.
Okay.
So no, the Xbox One. So I know. So I'm trying to think like. I'm starting to round out my nerd cred, in the past couple of years. I'm into Doctor Who, and I'm general Star Trek, Star Wars fan. Star Wars, a little more than Star Trek, but whatever. I don't discriminate. I'm open to all. So I need to figure out where it is and shore that up a bit.
All right, so I know what. Now I do realize what he's talking about. I think we showed this video. I think this is old news. We showed this kid
I don't know if we ever did actually.
Oh, really? Because
Yeah.
we watched. I know we had at least watched it at one point.
The little putting machine.
Yes, where he had. I guess it is cool that he did, in fact. Looks like he's on EllenTube, which is obviously Ellen's version of YouTube. And if it's out there and on her channel, that would be pretty amazing, is what I'm trying to get or gather from. What I thought you were talking about was the whip, nay, kid that was dancing around. I know that was pretty heavy in the last day or two. Yeah, but Team Casalina. Yeah, we've seen that. I know I've seen the video. Excuse me. Because it was released a few weeks ago. So, pretty cool. The kid just makes a ton of, he makes a ton of, like, 30-footers. He says he hopes to miss, like, only 5, and he only up missing, like, 2 or something like that.
Cool.
I remember seeing that. Pretty cool. Anyway, what else do we have out there? Let's see if I can move over any of the other conversation. I'm watching on our Xbox One. Thanks, Jordan.
Yeah, there's
thanks for joining us, Wade, as always. Do we have any experience with Castoplast Disc? No, we do not. Have you played Tribaloid's disc golf video game? I have not. I know that they've been really active, and they've also supported disc golf in a number of ways. And for that, I thank them. I think that's awesome and amazing. In fact, I would love to even possibly work with them on some stuff, but I have not tried it. And again, I'm just not much of a video game guy in any capacity.
Every once in a while you get hooked on little mobile games.
Yeah,
for like a week,
and
then
more often than not, even if it's a mobile game, 9 times out of 10 it's either puzzle and or text related. It's not any kind of actual motion or graphics related. So, yeah, not. I don't know. Sorry, I don't have time for them. Any other experience? No. I'm gonna move up if we can see if there's anything else that I can find here. Yep, somebody agreed. Keen is the way to go. Brody Smith, we talked about. PewDiePie, yeah. I mean, clearly, and again, I was just reading this article yesterday about the top earners on YouTube, and the formula is, do video games and video game reviews and play video games and talk video games, because obviously it's such a huge demographic.
Yeah.
That seems like one of the easy. I almost, if I were to get into it, it would be like the video game noob channel, and there's probably some little niche market for that.
I said there's probably already 1,000 people.
There
like
probably
that,
already are, but
there's a few really key YouTube demographics. There's that. There's makeup.
Yep.
Makeup is really huge on YouTube. Learning how to put it on and do this or that. There's a couple channels. There's unboxings. That's really large as far as toys and other things, like just literally opening a box and showing it to people what's inside, how it's packaged, stuff like that.
It's my disc in a box.
Yep. So, especially toys. So those are like 3 really big, kind of weird.
Yeah.
And then
who would have ever thought they'd be so popular, and so those are definitely ways that if you're looking to increase your views. Grant, we appreciate it, pal. You say that you listen to us while you practice your putting in the garage. Glad to hear it, buddy. We should just yell miss every once in a while.
Grant.
Chris asks, Terry and Johnny, did you guys listen to the final round interview with the
American Disc
Golf Tour guy? Not sure what to think myself after listening to it. No, we had talked about it a little bit earlier, that we both realized that was released, and before I really spoke any further on it, I should listen to that, because I'd be interested to know what questions they asked him and exactly what his responses were, because I feel like that's, those are, when we hear it directly from a representative, as I did before, but hear some of those things answered directly from a representative, I feel like that gives me that much better understanding. There's a lot of hearsay and a lot of internet talk and so on and so forth, but hopefully hearing directly from someone is a way to go. So I have not listened to it yet. Again, I don't really listen to any other podcast, but generally. But that one I had actually downloaded, figured out how to do that. I was pretty impressed with myself. Nerdage level 2. Given the same top 6 players, what is more exciting skins or match play? Or stroke play? The top 6 players.
Would it depend on the course? Like, would stroke play be less exciting than skins on a particular course? Because if you have a deuce or die course, they're all probably deucing. That's going to make the skins that much more valuable, that much more exciting, where these guys can reach most of them. If you've got a much tougher course like La Mirada, I think your skins are maybe a little less exciting because there's not as much buildup. The skins are being handed over pretty frequently. So, or not La Mirada, I'm sorry, I was thinking
De La
Viega. I think it depends on the course, but in general, stroke play, probably.
Yeah, I mean, there's
just
that wasn't even one of the options I threw it out there, but yeah, I don't. Well, first of all, I mean, I don't know if you're talking all 6 players playing at once, but just in, I don't know. I think there's part of it also is a little bit in the build-up, and if everyone understands what's going on, because I think match play is a little bit more difficult for people to wrap their head around. I think.
Sure.
And even though skins is really just match play, and
Yeah.
like it's a heads up, you win that hole or you don't, or you could push the hole or whatever the case may be. So I mean, skins.
And I love match play personally. I think I have a lot of fun.
I think match play is more fun to be in, and I think skins is more. I think skins is more exciting to watch. There's your answer. Done. Everyone else is wrong that says otherwise. Skins is the best out of what you had just asked about. What are you going to have coverage schedule? When are you going to have your coverage schedule posted online? I believe that we will. I think you're going to see us at some of the most obvious events. We're definitely working with Steve Dodge in the Disc Golf Pro Tour. So there's like 5 or 6 events technically right there. And we're still going to have conversations. I know the Pro Worlds is going to be a conversation that's got to be had with the PDGA as they own the rights to that. I know the Am Worlds is a conversation that needs to be had. I know we're going to soon be having a conversation with our friends over at Discraft and the Memorial Championships. That's a conversation that needs to be had. So there's a handful of conversations that have to be had. And as always, there is going to be the discussion about our live coverage and or recorded coverage if you're going to see one or both or one or the other. So I'll show off this real quick. This is a disc going out to one of our Smashies tomorrow because he purchased it. It's not for free. He purchased it, and this is one of the few remaining Color Glow Rock 3s, Champ Rock 3s. And he didn't know this, but that is one of the cooler ones with a little bit of swirl or pigment in it.
It's got that.
He had asked that Johnny V and I sign it. Most haven't been, but he asked that Johnny V and I sign it, and I'll be sending that out tomorrow.
I've not held any of our discs.
Yeah, well, there you go. You get to touch it for a little bit.
Ooh.
There you go. And you'll see me promoting some stuff. I had Paul before USDGC sign a Destroyer here and a Discmania FD3. You're going to see those online, but anyway. And I'm also going to be creating a Disc Golf Guy / Smashbox marketplace on Facebook. There's all these different groups, Innova only, Buzz only, Thunderbird only, First Run, MVP, Anode only groups, whatever. You're seeing all these different groups and your auction sites and your bidding only sites, auction, raffle sites, all these different sites. I'm going to create one that I'm the only seller on. You can stop by and be a member of it, and there's going to be a lot of different formats for things to be sold on it. So
cool.
That's something that I'm working on.
Beats asks if we've met Brad Beck, a.k.a. the Disc Eye, and I have not personally met him. I know we worked with him at USDGC. Had you met him?
I've met him a couple times.
Yeah.
Great guy. Met him I believe the first time was at the Maple Hill Open this year. He had also been the lucky fella that recorded the Felberg Ace when he was on that card. I believe it was the second card where Schustrick and Felberg were. So I had met him there, and then I saw him again at the USDGC. I didn't interact with him as much there because we were live and he was out doing his his recording. But yeah, really nice guy, and seems to be putting out a bunch of really good videos. So, what are your go-to discs? I think we've kind of said this in the past. I'm an original Ontario rock fan, and Johnny V's a Buzz fan that doesn't get stolen.
Yeah, right now my go-to disc is no disc.
Joe.
Actually, honestly, I think my go-to disc is my Comet.
Okay.
Like, I love a Buzz, but more than likely I can get a Comet to go perfectly straight. A Buzz almost always Hyzers out at the end, but I would rather throw a Comet.
Friend and local, Joe. I don't know, Joe W. Have we met? I appreciate you supporting and reaching out to us. Will I be the tournament director in 2016 for the cold? Will you still TD? Well, I still tournament direct in general in 2016. Yeah, I'm gonna do even less events than ever. I've really dwindled. I've been run as many as 20 events in a year, probably down to 15. For the most part, it's between 10 and 15. This last year, it probably was 6 or 8-ish, maybe. And next year, it might be that or even a couple less.
Sure.
Yeah, just too many other weekends on the road doing other things. Any new up-and-comers we should watch for? I think it'll be interesting just to see who goes pro and who doesn't, or who plays pro.
Yeah,
but then
I mean,
maybe
there's really, I'll say, other than Austin, our two Am Worlds boys that are
Isaac.
under 16, Isaac and
Barella.
Macbeth and Macbeth Jr.
Yep.
So what are they going to do? Is Isaac going to go pro, or is he going to make another run at Am Worlds? And I kind of always feel like you get one good run at Am Worlds, and if you don't, especially when you take second,
Yeah.
And I know, and it was rough the way he did it, but I think and this is just me, that he should go pro because he has the talent. But because if you don't win now, it's that much. It's kind of like it's almost a letdown. Like if you come in 4th or 6th, unless you come back and win, there's almost nothing to it. And that's just my personal opinion, and he can do whatever he wants. And it's, but that's just how I feel. Like if you don't win, you're kind of, there's almost some shade thrown at you. It's like, you had your chance. That's my opinion. So, here's a good question. You're on your way to the course, and you stop at a gas station. Assuming the gas station has all the snack and drink items. What's the one food/snack and one drink that you go with? Now, I'm assuming they mean go to the course with.
Yep. Yeah, like what do you pack along or make sure you have with you?
For me, a big thing of water.
Mm-hmm.
And then my snack, I am a peanut butter cup guy. I love having a peanut butter cup. I mean, in my bag, I always usually carry granola bars and things like that, just because I like to, usually if it's a tournament round or even a casual round, I like to munch before or in the middle. But like on my way, gas station wise, I almost always get me a peanut butter cup.
It's cute. I, unfortunately, no surprise, it probably would be a Mountain Dew, which I'll try and fix or curtail or end someday. It'd probably be a Mountain Dew. And then in terms of a snack, I'm a hot peanuts kind of guy. I love some hot peanuts. Usually it's the Planters. Those are most available at most places. But I like it when I go other places like the South where I just visited. And they had like Chipotle barbecue peanuts and other barbecue peanuts, little snack packs of peanuts. They fill me up, and they're usually really tasty.
Yeah.
So I'm a huge fan of hot peanuts, spicy ones.
Yeah.
Big fan. You don't like them?
No,
you don't like spicy stuff.
I'm not a huge fan of spicy stuff, especially if I'm going to go out to the course. Like I don't mind it a little bit, like for a dinner, something like that, but not on the way out to the course or anything like that. And I don't want anyone to think I'm not. I'm just as guilty as Terry when it comes to drinking soda, but not out the course. I hate it because usually if you put it in your bag, it gets all shaken up and then it loses its carbonation. So when I go to the course, it's either like a Gatorade or a water.
I will say if I'm competing in what I think is going to be a long or more demanding round, I'll probably buy like a blue Gatorade, the whatever version that is.
Yeah, like the worst kind.
No, light blue.
That was still the worst kind.
The Ice Frost or whatever it is.
The worst kind.
No, I'll get something like that. So if I'm planning on, because then I will plan on drinking the Gatorade and or watering it down and drinking that. So if I'm playing in a tournament, I guess I should change my answer because it likely wouldn't be actually a Mountain Dew at that point. It would be some kind of Gatorade.
Yeah, no, I'm assuming that means like a casual round. Even casual rounds, I usually don't bring soda out to. If I'm playing golf, it's either Gatorade or water.
And I do love, I appreciate all our smashes out there. I do love my pretzel, cheddar cheese pretzel combos.
Yep.
But those don't travel as well as a little bag of peanuts do. So
Okay, Gibney, I'll give you that. Purple probably is the worst. And then I'm a big fan of traditional Gatorade, the lemon lime, and the fruit punch one.
yeah, you would. I used to be fruit punch, but now the blue, you don't like the frost?
I know, I don't. I know every time, like, it's funny because I usually get like a couple of the red and, those two, and you usually get the blue frost. And every once in a while, like, if I'm really thirsty, I'll look at yours and I'll be like, no, I don't even want to drink. Like, I don't like the taste.
Okay, well, you're wrong. That's okay.
Nah, it's fine.
What advice would you give to someone running an A's here for the first time? I'm excited and nervous at the same time. Obviously, I mean, all TDs will tell you, get everything you can get done ahead of time.
Yep.
Get it done. One of the good things to do would be to have some kind of player or caddy guide, but then have someone else mildly removed from the event kind of look it over. It's just easy to forget little rules and little things. So they got to kind of know either the course or the tournament, but maybe not too intimately, so that they actually read it with a little bit of scrutiny. Then they read over your player book or your caddy guide. Have all your pin positions set up 1 week in advance. You usually can't go wrong. If you're hosting a tournament, we'll say Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The week before, I would say by Friday afternoon, try and get your pin set. People love that. I personally, I'm indifferent to how early it needs to be set up, but a lot of people do love having that set up early. So that would be another good thing. And obviously, hopefully you've got sponsors. Hopefully you've got all that other stuff. But and make sure you have power wherever you're doing the majority of your work, whether you need to borrow a generator or whether you're in a hotel lobby or wherever you are. Just make sure you have power where you're doing the majority of your work. That's a huge one as well. Somebody asked if I like boiled peanuts, and that's weird. And I say that because I'd never seen them before. I've traveled a lot around the country. This weekend was the first time. Boiled peanuts at the gas station. Just like big old, like what you have vat, or that you'd normally find like a soup in if you were going somewhere.
Okay.
And two options: one boiled peanuts with this spicy or some flavor, and then another vat with another set of boiled peanuts. And it looks like they're just taking peanuts and I don't know. I asked my buddy Kyle. I couldn't bring myself to try them. I like peanuts. Shelled peanuts are great. I'll take them, or unshelled. But I couldn't bring myself to try boiled peanuts. That'll be next visit maybe.
Yeah. Someone says, "Oh, they are horrible." So I don't know.
Boiled peanuts?
Probably.
Okay.
If you, which would you rather have? Poor grip on the discs or bad traction on the tee pads? I don't know. Or which, I guess the better question is, which is worse? I would rather have a good grip on my disc and slip all over the tee pad than the other way.
Well, and I don't know if bias is quite the word, but I rarely have grip issues. I'm way more inclined to have traction issues. So I would say, because I hate when I would say grip. I guess these both suck.
Yeah, they both. I mean,
that's like saying, would you rather
be poked in the eye or punched in the belly,
or would you rather not have your left shoe or your right shoe when you play? Like, both suck. I personally, though, I would go with bad grip, because I think when you have bad traction, assuming you're slipping for sure, you have no idea where that disc is coming out. But you could say the same thing about your hand. But
yeah.
I don't know. I think when your footing goes out from under you, there's no telling what can happen. When your disc slips,
it's almost always Hyzering out.
Yeah.
If you're a right hand backhand, it's almost always just coming out early and slipping. I don't know. I mean, I guess if you think about it, I'd rather have bad traction because I have the option maybe to stand. If I know there's going to be bad traction or it's going to be raining, I'd rather have bad traction because I can stand still. And on top of that, my footwork is awful anyway, and I slip a lot, so I'm kind of used to it. I absolutely hate having wet hands. And I don't know if I'm sure everybody's different. Everyone's skin is a little bit different. I feel like my hands or maybe it includes part of my grip, that it slips a lot more. My grip is not as good because I don't power grip. I'm more of a fan grip, and so it's a little harder for me when I have wet hands and stuff. So I constantly have a lot of towels, and I need to get some of those rock climbing things to make sure my grip is really good. At one point even, and I loved it, even though it's not legal, I sprayed some basically it's like a special thing you can get at Home Depot. It just, the water beads away on a disc because I wanted to try it to mess with it. So you spray it, you wait for a while, then you spray a second coat, and then you spray it with like a third thing, and it's like some sort of tiny little micro bead, and it creates a layer on the plastic. And sure enough, I brought it outside. I poured water on it, and the water just beat it off. Like, it just literally just fell off, and the disc was super dry, even in the most pouring rain. And if that was legal, I'd do that to a whole set of plastic so I could have it for the rain. But apparently you can't have anything of any sort of thickness. And this did literally add probably a quarter of a half of a micromillimeter of thickness. You could feel the grippy and tackiness of the plastic then. It was really rough. So I'm sure the disc didn't quite fly as far, but honestly, if I'm in the rain, I'll sacrifice the 40 feet or the 30 feet for an accurate, straight, where I want to throw it shot. Because it didn't matter how wet my hand was, that disc was still dry. I could still grip it.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm fortunate. I feel like rarely do I have grip issues in holding it. Holding a disc or my hands getting wet doesn't seem to bother me as much. I had a question. We had a question come in.
Yeah, the hydrophobic is the stuff. I bought it at Home Depot because I saw it, and I'm like, I wonder how this would work on some plastic. And sure enough, I sprayed a couple pieces, and I loved it. I really did.
Yeah, it was really cool stuff. There's some interesting, people will spray it on their white tennis shoes, and then they go out and they pour ketchup and mud all over them, and it just beads right off. Michael Chambers had wrote in from YouTube, from the Facebook, and asked. He has an old 4-time pro disc autographed, 4-time pro autographed disc, but the marker is fading. What can you do to further prevent it? It's on DX type plastic. My best recommendation is certainly don't throw it, don't expose it to anything, don't put it on a wall. I would, if you're really concerned about preserving it, I'd find a Ziploc bag, put it in a Ziploc bag, and then tuck it away in a box in a closet. That's what I would do if you're really, really concerned. It's weird that it would be fading if it's not doing anything.
Yeah, that's. I was gonna say.
If you're not throwing it, if you don't have it in the sun.
Behind this, there's a bunch of signed plastic, and not really many of them are fading. I think there's one on an old disc. I think there's an old Climo signed disc that it's kind of just wearing away, and I never handle it or anything.
Joe asked, what models are the Smashbox discs? Will you be selling T-shirts, and when is the calendar coming? Definitely never a calendar, ever.
You say that now. I've learned never say never.
Oh, sorry. The Kale-ender is what it really was. The Smashbox discs we have currently, we have Champion Glow Rock 3s, just a few left, Champion Glow Destroyers, Star Destroyers, DX AVRs, KC AVRs, Glow Thunderbirds, Glow Firebirds, and I think if I named 8, that's 8. Oh, and Champion Turns, Champ Gummy Turns. That should be all 8. And the Glow Rocks have been the quickest to glow so far. I meant go. So the Glow Rocks are the Champ Color Glow. Are the T-shirts, funny you ask. Smashbox T-shirts are actually in mock-up mode as we speak, thanks to our good friend Miles over at Paragon. He's working with us to make an order of Smashbox tees, which we're hoping to have possibly in hand by this time next week or middle of next week, and we'll have those out immediately following. Maybe there'll be a big Cyber Monday release. They won't be on sale; they'll just be released that day. We don't have time to put them on sale. Come on now. So those we're gonna have long sleeves short sleeves that are super comfortable, my favorite shirts, that have like a nice poly blend, and then we're going to have short sleeve dry fits. So you'll have all sorts of options.
Which of the following type of player is the most frustrating to have in your group? 1, the slow player. 2, crazy routine guy. 3, chatty Cathy. Or 4, the what did you throw there guy?
That's easy one for me. Luke, you got a bunch of great questions, buddy. You'd think we'd give you a segment by now, but we won't. That's easy for me, and it's the slow player. I can't stand I play very quickly and sometimes very inefficiently. I just can't stand slow players because all I'm thinking is throw the effing disc. Throw it. How do you not know what you're throwing? You've had all this time to think about it in your head. Why are you baffled? You're behind inside a ridiculous bush or tree or some kind of crazy scenario. Fine, I understand a little extra time. But wide open, 300 feet, throw the effing disc. Like, quicker than you're doing it. And putt already. Throw the putt in.
Or number 5, the how far is this guy? How far is this hole?
Yeah.
I'll say this. Usually 1 and 2 kind of go together, slow player and crazy routine guy. I'm going to go with probably crazy routine guy because it more so involves slow player. Because if there's someone like, that has like just, that putt that, they fake you out 4 times. And you're like, they're going to putt and you kind of take that step like, oh, they putt. Oh, geez, I got to wait. Like that bothers me more. If you're slow on the tee, that's fine. I'll sit there and wait while you do whatever you do. Because when I get up, I know I'm going to get up and throw. It's more crazy routine guy for me. Like it just
you're right. Those can go hand in hand. Sam Michaels asked, Terry, how long does it take you to edit a full round of disc golf? If I have everything that I need, let's say I'm not counting the time to get it off my camera onto my card onto my computer, and we'll call it 5 to 7 hours to edit a full round. Now, things that can slow me down are, do I have the scorecards? Do I have to make up scorecards? Am I doing any kind of voiceover, which I rarely do these days, but am I doing a voiceover? And then does that also include the time it takes to render? A video can take anywhere from 30 minutes to 3 hours to render itself out, and then it can take anywhere from 30 minutes to 3 hours to upload to YouTube. So I don't really count those in terms of editing, but an actual edit, 5 to 7, 6 to 8 hours, somewhere in that neighborhood. And again, I'm not that efficient, nor am I that good at it, so that's why I wish other people were doing it for me. But it takes a long time. And then when you sometimes break it up because it is too long, and you have 2 separate rounds, you're not really doubling that effort, but getting all the footage, getting it there. The scorecards suck. I need a program, a system, a way to speed up the scorecard situation. Because to go through and make, let's say I'm picking up second round, you're 4 under, the next, the whole leader card's 4, 3, 2, 1 under, and then they shoot all these scores. And then there's various pars on various holes that are other than 3, and it's 18 holes, and then there's a 5-some, and it's 18 or it's 22 holes for some stupid reason. Making all those scorecards to go in between the holes, that's the worst. That's become the worst. I didn't even used to do that. Now everyone's doing it, and everyone loves it. That's the worst part, is putting those scorecards in between holes. It really is. So there's your long answer.
Yeah. Because it's tedious.
It is. It's easy to screw up.
Yeah, and there's a lot of places to make mistakes.
Like, oh, this guy took a 4 on his scorecard, and was it a par 4 or was it a par 5? And then depending on how you're setting up your scorecard. But then when you screw up his score on hole 3, and then you're back on hole 17 wondering why or 18, and it's not about to match up for the round. You're like, oh. And then if you depending if you saved or rendered or did whatever with those individual clips, it sucks.
Yeah.
It really sucks. And that's where, again, not only an editor, I just wish I had a graphic design guy at my disposal that, was on board all the time in the middle of the night at my beck and call, because they could do a lot of that work too.
Sure.
How far is that guy? I don't understand. You guys don't pick out what disc they're going to throw off the tee until they've on the box, and then they're last to tee. Yeah, that is definitely interesting. Madison's #1 fan. I asked earlier, and I don't know if you responded. What's your real name? We talked about
Creepers.
creepers last week. I'm not claiming you're a creeper. It's a clever login, and it could it could be Dolly Madison, or it could be anyone else. Maybe not Madison Walker. The nice shot guy. Nice shot guys don't bother me. I'll say that they don't bother me at all. What is funny though is listening to the dynamics in our groups.
I love.
And the nice shot guys, or maybe and Austin Turner didn't do this, but an Austin Turner type who's 17 on a leader card, someone like him is more inclined to say, hey, nice putt to the 32-footer by Schultz, when Schultz has made literally 100,000 of those in his life.
Yep.
It's funny. You're newer, you're younger, you're probably more polite. You maybe aren't nervous, but you're more inclined to dish out a compliment here and there. When you get to some of the uppermost players, an ace sometimes doesn't even get a high five. Yeah. That's what I find funny and amusing. And you also go on to say, Joe, the nice, while your disc is in motion. I don't buy any of that. I don't believe in any of that. So that again, that's probably why it doesn't bother me. People who think nicing discs in any way blow my mind. Disc Golf Nerd says, clearly anything in the flight. No, and I can understand the frustration. Like yourself, I don't believe in it, but I can understand. You say nice shot. But then again, when someone says nice shot, they're probably genuinely just trying to compliment you.
Yeah, like
no one would ever say nice shot thinking, oh God, as soon as I say nice shot,
it's going to hit a
tree.
branch. Like usually it's because you did have a nice shot, and then a disc is only in the air for a few seconds. So usually it's 3/4 of the way through your through the flight, and it's like, oh, nice shot. And then if it hits something at the end of the throw, people are like, oh, you nice to me. Like I'm not telling you as you're pulling back, like nice shot coming up right here, buddy. So I'm with you.
Look at matter. MJ. He doesn't care about even watching it. I'll say this though, MJ doesn't care about watching his own disc. I think he has a pretty good idea of where it goes, but he does care about other people's, because MJ is one to dish out compliments.
Sure.
From what I recall and being around him, he has no problem saying great shot, great putt, whatever. You're right though. He'll throw a shot. He'll know it's executed to a certain degree, and then he won't even bother looking it off. But if you know where it's gonna go.
The disc suggester guy, I can't imagine. I don't see that a lot in the open field.
Yeah, you really don't.
So if you are seeing that in the open field, that's a really strange, because they just, and trust me, I've played in almost all areas of the open field, from the top very rarely to the bottom very frequently, and you don't see that very often. Like no, I really think you should go, unless you know the guy really well. Like if I was with Terry and I threw first, and I said, oh, Terry, you may want to think about your ghost here. That's one thing.
Yeah.
But because we've played hundreds of rounds together or whatever. But to your average stranger, I would never, ever think about. And you don't really usually see somebody else be like, oh, no, dude, I really think you should throw your beat up Buzz here. I saw you throw it 3 holes ago or something. It's odd.
I don't remember if it was this weekend or just very, very recently. It was either here or in Vegas. Somebody on some card was suggesting to another pro as to exactly like how great a disc was. I don't know. It was I totally forgot the situation, but I remember at the time thinking, dude, you were out of place.
Really?
Like what he was saying at the time, and he was he was trying to be nice and helpful, but he was telling the wrong person the wrong thing, is what I was thinking. I remember laughing at that to myself. Yeah, you're right. The discharger guys, I hate them. Those don't ever work.
No,
I always try and make those work. All right.
Why wouldn't you draw a circle on your hand?
Yeah.
Like, that's my disc charger.
Put it like right there in my disc thrower straighter, device, where you'd want to put it in there. I don't know.
Anyway.
Trying to think if we've got anything else really exciting as we can wait for anyone else to come in or chime in with anything. I'm trying to think. And Michael got back to us saying that he has his PDGA disc, which looks like, and I can't pull it up perfectly. Oh, here we go. He's got Ron Russell, Barry Schultz, Ken Climo, and Scott Stokely. That looks like a 1999 Final Four at Worlds disc is what that looks like to us, Michael. Well, to me anyway. Those were your 4 finalists at the 99 Worlds held in Chilai, at the Chilai course outside of Rochester, New York, or near Rochester.
Oh,
New York.
Luke says he meant in terms of getting a new mold or something that they're not currently throwing. Like, oh, you should really try this one.
Oh yeah,
out.
you should look into the such and such.
If you like that one, you're gonna love this one.
Well, what's funny is when it's like of a different name brand, maybe even by someone they're not sponsored by. Like,
Sure.
oh, you should check out this brand new Excalibur as the guy sponsored by Discraft or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
that probably won't go over so well. Did you find anything crazy out of Nate's announcements tonight? Anything out of the ordinary, so to speak?
No, I think we kind of talked about that and just said that Nate just going above and beyond like he always does. I told this to you, and this has nothing to do with Nate at all. I told this to you. I met a guy yesterday who is who's in a wheelchair because of disc golf. And we went to a demonstration of wheelchair basketball yesterday. There were 2 gentlemen who play in the Wisconsin. They had the really long acronym as far as wheelchair basketball, so like the W something and NBA whatever. And he had said something about one gentleman had cancer in both legs, which is when he was like 13, and another gentleman was crawled up a building to get a frisbee. He said he was up about 30 feet, couldn't crawl back down the way he came up, so he went to go kind of hop into a tree which was nearby and get down. And when he went, he apparently slipped and fell 30 feet, landing straight on his back, and now he no longer has feeling from about his rib cage down. So, and all I kept thinking, and it was, I don't want to say it's bad of me, but when he told the story in front of all these Boy Scouts, all I kept thinking was it disc golf? And I'm thinking, and into my head I said, if it's up 30 feet, odds are it is, because you don't usually throw a regular frisbee or even maybe an ultimate disc up that high. But
Sure.
And then I was thinking, I wonder what disc it was. Like, nothing is worth it, but in my head I'm thinking, was it at least like a champion plastic from because it was about 12 to 15 years ago, 12, 14 years ago. So I'm trying to think of like what was hot back then. I'm like, was it like some candy plastic, or was it just like some bad DX disc that his buddy had that because this guy, he was a football player in college, and he said that he's like, oh, I can go up and get that, and now he does all sorts of different ability sports. So he's in football in his wheelchair, and basketball is his main one that he enjoys. But he says he's tried rugby, he's tried all sorts of other things. So I thought it was interesting to. He actually called it a frolf disc as I walked out, and I asked him to clarify his story just a little bit. We were chatting, and he's like, yeah, it was a frolf disc. And I said, oh, I do we do a disc golf podcast and this and that. So I kind of.
Did you get all up in his business correcting him?
No, not at all.
You should have.
No, I figured it wasn't worth it. But I did fail to mention as I walked out, I was thinking, I'm like, oh, I wonder if he knows about the wheelchair accessible course in Manitowoc.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't get a chance to bring it up with him because I thought about it literally as I was about 100 feet away walking away. And then at that point it was, we were just getting out of there. So
Sure. It didn't seem like he was overly enthused about the idea of continuing with frisbee or frisbee golf.
I don't even know. I don't even think he was.
Golf?
I don't even know if he was playing or if he was just there to help some buddies get a disc down. I didn't clarify quite that much, but he said it happened up in northern Minnesota, some college that he was at. So,
wow, very. Well, I don't mean to laugh at him, but very unfortunate relation back to disc golf.
I know. I was just it just kind of hit me. I was like, wow, that's really crappy. Like just thinking about some of the worst injuries you usually hear about on a course. Maybe you slip and you pull a muscle, or you maybe break a wrist or something along those lines, and then you hear about somebody who and he was explaining to all these kids about how he just made one bad decision. Like he thought he could get from the whatever roof he was on over to a tree, which was pretty close, and he slipped getting there and fell 30 feet. And he's there was they did this big thing about explaining the difference between Special Olympics and Paralympics, and I was just sitting there thinking in my head like, wow, that sucks. Just to be, and I was thinking, does he now have does he hate disc golf? And little things like that just running through my mind as I'm listening to them talk.
Some of the other things coming in on the board. Terry seems like he'd be great at a stand-up comedy club. Whiplash Joker 21. Welcome to the show. First, maybe long-time listener, long-time lurker, first-time poster. I don't recognize the name. So glad you're here, posting, talking, chiming in. It's funny you say that. I'll admit that somewhere, maybe on the back end of a bucket list of sorts, is that I feel like I've said for years, I feel like I should have a 2 to 5 minute comedy routine, stand-up routine, somewhere filed in the back of my head, so that someday if I ever had the gumption to go on stage, I would be able to deliver it.
I have one.
You have one.
I do. Like,
okay.
It was, I know. Go figure. Like, It was years ago.
Okay.
I was out on a date.
So
clearly,
does your wife know about this date
Shh.
that you were on?
We went to a place called the Safe House.
Yep.
And there was a comedy show there, and this was before I met my wife. And there was a gentleman who stood up, and this was like an open mic night. We were there because we knew the MC. Okay. He was a friend of the girl I was dating. So this guy comes up on stage, and he proceeds to tell these awful jokes, but it's not even so much that the jokes were bad. It was how he was presenting them. He came up like he was mentally handicapped of some sort.
Okay.
Like that he was. And nobody,
that was his shtick?
Apparently.
Okay.
Which we found out because at the time when he walked up there, nobody knew.
You were buying it.
Yeah, we just thought like, okay, this guy, this is his thing. He wants to get up and do it. So everyone just kind of sat there and nobody was really laughing. People were kind of giving like a, ha ha ha, okay. And it was long and it kind of got awkward. And at the very end, he just like stopped when his time was up and everyone kind of gave like a really half-ass applause. And he stopped and he just kind of said, ugh, you guys just don't know what funny is.
Ouch.
Completely normal, so to speak, and walked off stage.
Huh.
And I remember my jaw hit the floor. And I remember thinking like what did I just witness? And then that kind of got me thinking like, well, what would I do for, 5 minutes? And I had this, I didn't write it up, but I kind of went through this routine in my head about being a kid and being chased around by my mom because she, with a wooden spoon. And I kind of came up with a whole 4 to 5 minute routine thinking like someday I may need to get up and entertain somebody for some reason at a stand-up comedy club. Because I think it would be fun. It would be interesting, but it'd be scary as crap, I think, too.
Do you feel like you have this material right now, still to this day?
I would have to think about it because I had I remember thinking I had like 2 or 3 stories is what it was, like shorter, and I'd have to probably go through it and think about it. But it's like 10 years ago, I probably could have pulled it up, and I had it like kind of in the back of my head for a good year or two, and then it never, nothing ever came of it and whatever. So I think I could probably do it up. I don't know if I'd want to though. I mean, it's not my thing for the most part. So it's interesting.
Okay. Well, I've been very torn. I said earlier, I am a huge fan of stand-up comedy, especially in person. I've always found it funnier. Even when they're not that funny, I find it funnier at least. And I'm a big fan of going to it and watching it, seeing it. Some I've seen really good. I've seen really bad. I've been in New York and some of the, all the different little clubs that they have there. I've seen a lot of it there, or I've seen some there. Yeah, a good mixture of everyone. And I've never really thought politically about comedians because I just either find them funny or not. And then like I've always put like any politics or agendas aside because I find a lot of different things funny.
Yeah.
Anyone from Aziz to Kathy Griffin to whomever. Like which even right there can be a really big stretch, I realize. And I've always thought, especially in seeing the not so good ones at your smaller clubs and places, I've always just thought, man, I think I could do that. And then I've also thought there's a lot of really not bright people that have comedy, that do comedy, or there's people that really surprise me. Maybe is a better way. Well, not a better way. Is another way to put it too. That I feel like there's no reason why I couldn't at least put something together. But
Sure.
then I always think, I don't think my comedy, or what I feel like is my comedy for myself, I don't know if it translates well into a stand-up stage.
Sure.
I feel like I'm a little bit better in a cocky / quick-witted reactionary comedy versus a storytelling comedy,
Okay.
if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, because what I would think for me is I would love to do more storytelling. You know, one of my favorite stories is the night, that you and I got our car towed in Houston. And I remember, I've told that story, I haven't told it in a long time, but I remember telling it after that. I told that story 24 times to different people, and I laughed, and I thought it was a funny story. And maybe it's only funny to us,
Sure.
but other people, enjoyed it. My bosses enjoyed it. I talked to him about it. My wife's family, when we first met, I remember telling him that story. And you maybe at times embellish a little bit, and other times, you leave maybe certain
details
out. But I that's what I would prefer. And I think I'm relatively quick-witted, but I don't think I'd want to make a living at that. If I were to have to make it, it would be some sort of storytelling.
Yeah, well, I've also seen, we've had some good friends do your improv over at whatever.
The Comedy Sports.
Yeah, thanks. Wow,
Someone says
John
Terry
Zorba.
has a boogie.
I don't know. Now it got me all conscious. Either that or it's part of this comedy gig, comedy conversation. Yeah, I think that's a good place to start, though. And then maybe you hone it in from there as to whether somebody there could probably help or point you in a different direction, whether a stand-up or an improv or whatever the different situations might be as to how to do it.
Sure.
But anyway, I don't know how that came about, but it was a funny question you say that. If we had comedy night, or people that wanted to, I don't know if we'd have people come on here and tell jokes, but I don't know. It could be kind of funny, especially in an after show. What else is out there? We see Madison Walker has chimed in. She claims she's the real Madison Walker. That is
Just about to get on a bus to North Carolina.
to North Carolina.
That's what it says.
Okay. Madison, glad you're out there. Excuse me. We know that you had taken your ginormous win this weekend, as you posted on Facebook. Congratulations for winning in Georgia.
What's a must-hit tourney for the upcoming faraway season?
Depends what you've played,
Yeah.
obviously, and what they're saying and what the division is. But anything on the Pro Tour are going to be great events. I bet you anything on the World Tour are also going to be great events. Obviously, the National Tour. Those are all easy places to look at.
I wouldn't say necessarily anything on the national
Not
tour.
anything, but I mean, those are good places to look.
It depends on if you're. We'll just say you're an amateur, more than likely. I think.
Well, then you're not playing on the National Tour technically.
Correct, but if you're going to hit up an event, let's say you're in general, your GBO, I think for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I think your Maple Hill for sure. Memorial.
Memorial's a great place to be.
Memorial's a great place
You're
to
there
be.
in gorgeous weather, decent courses
in March.
And then you get to watch the pros finish up. Memorial's a no-brainer.
Yeah. I just think the last couple times I've been to Memorial, it's been less of a party than it has been in the past because Dukes isn't as exciting, and it used to be everyone hung out there and everyone kind of chatted. And now that we're a little more spread out, there's a little bit less of that, but it's still a great place to be. Like, it's a great tournament to get the season kicked off.
Yeah, getting
the
to the
Memorial
Memorial is a no-brainer.
I think the Memorial is more fun now after the Memorial, with everyone hanging out at Fountain Hills, throwing plastic and doing distance and stuff like that. Like, that's where the Memorial now thrives.
Chris says, I'm sorry, Beat says 2 peanuts walk into a bar, one was assaulted. I'm a fan of that.
That's a
I'll
good
take that.
That's a good one.
All right. Huge win for Madison. Stand-up comedy hour could be a part of the DG Pro Tour schedule. That's actually, there's some validity in that, and we'll have to talk to Steve Dodge about that. That would be pretty hilarious.
I hate mediocre stand-up comedy. You and I have gone to a couple clubs where it's like I just like where I've seen,
and that's what usually gets my mind racing.
Where I see you laughing, and I remember there's a couple times like I've seen you laughing, and I remember thinking like, this guy isn't funny. Like,
sure.
I enjoy.
There's probably some pity laughs in there too.
Yeah,
because there's an awkwardness to not laughing.
Of course, I don't mind actually not laughing. If I'm at a stand-up comedy, and I'll sit there and not laugh. And I remember specifically we were at I think it was the comedy club here in town, and I'm all about blue humor or vulgarity. But I remember thinking like at one point I'm like, this guy is literally just swearing for the effect and for the comedy, and it's not funny.
Yeah.
And yeah, bad comedy is the worst. Like, it's just awful.
I hear you. I'm obviously there's always, like I said, that awkwardness of
course,
of bad comedy. We're gonna say goodbye to Madison. She said that her bus is here and she's out. So see ya, Madison.
Who is the top pro? Do you think that could put on the best 5-minute stand-up comedy routine?
Straight-up comedy routine.
Yep. And everyone obviously have comedies. Everyone does. I know what everyone's going to answer, but everyone's going to say Barsby because he's more of a showman.
Yeah, I don't.
But I think he's good at impressions. But I don't know if you're looking for, that's a different type of comedy.
Yeah, and I don't know that for straight up joke telling stand up comedy, I wouldn't pick Barsby.
No, I wouldn't either. I don't know who I'd pick yet, but.
Barsby's clearly funny and entertaining, but in a different way from straight up stand up comedy.
Yeah.
Man, that's a good question. Wow, now if he put a set together, and maybe there's just a little bit of that, foreign charm. But if he put a set together, Simon Lizotte could be pretty funny.
He is very funny.
I mean, he already is funny, but if he like really honed in on a set, and again, I think he can play on some of the cultural, and then the next question is, would you want it to involve disc golf humor? Or, I mean, straight
anything.
up just generic,
whatever,
quote unquote humor, or should it be sprinkled in or whatever with a little disc golf humor? That'd be a funny way to put it.
Yeah, I was thinking Simon or Big Germ, and I saw a bunch of people put Big Germ. Yeti could be good.
Yeti's definitely a storyteller with a lot of emotion.
Yeah.
He's got timing. He's got a great vocabulary. Yeti definitely would be very entertaining for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeti's got so much emphasis in his voice when he wants to and he needs to. And Yeti's a storyteller. There's no doubt about it. He is a great storyteller and a great public speaker. So Yeti would be a good suggestion as well. Roger asks, being media gurus, do you guys like to see media lanes at big tournaments as far as getting the right angle and better angles for shots that you guys are running 3 angles of a shot or just the standard 2? Roger, I mean, then this is a conversation that will get more serious in a regular podcast probably in the next 2 to 4 months. There's kind of somewhat of a hierarchy, and I was just thinking of it again yesterday. There's somewhat of a hierarchy that is going to hopefully continue to standardize within disc golf. And I think, and it has nothing to do with where we are on it, because my role changes weekend to weekend. Live generally, and this is kind of officially written out in a document, and it's going to hopefully be fully adopted,
implemented.
Live cameras get whatever shot they want.
They have priority. Number one priority. Recorded cameras, secondary. They adhere to live cameras. So if you're there and you're a YouTuber or whatever, or doing whatever function, so if you're recording and not live, you get secondary priority. Third is photography, professional photographers, and fourth and beyond should be
freaking caddies and cell phone recorders and whatever. And I put caddies in there in the sense that I got personally really frustrated. Paul Macbeth had a really nice guy doing some, I think, caddying and Instagramming for him during the USDGC, and he just was in our way 3 or 4 times. More than that, probably. And I know he was doing something for Paul, and that's great. And I don't even remember what he looks like. I'm not mad at him in that sense, but he definitely was hindering our shot. Okay. And guess what? Your Instagram account is definitely not a priority over our much higher budget, much more challenging live account. So I think without going off on too much of a rant, I think and you're going to see that's kind of officially how it's laid out right now. And I'll go on, and I have to repeat this later too. If someone's ruining someone else's shot, which apparently I've done, it's never been intentional. I may get into a position, and you may have already had your position, but if I'm live and our guys get into position, I'm sorry. That's, sometimes live, that's just the way it goes.
And usually it's not intentional.
And yeah, all of us, I should say that. All of us are not ever trying to necessarily get in someone else's way or screw up their shot. But at the last second, if we're live and there's the option of get the shot and maybe tick off someone near you or not get the shot, we're going to get the shot. And that's only when we're live, because at that point we have the top priority. And this goes for anyone. We gladly, I have stood down plenty of times to when Disc Golf Planet has been out recording something live, or they're airing something live, and they may literally walk to 2 inches in front of me and take that spot and stand there in front of me. That's happened, and I'm okay with that, because then I have to simply move and adjust to it. So I hope that answers your question. But no, we're never intentionally messing with someone else's lines or lie.
Do you think that putting contests should or could get more attention if they became promoted better or giving better payouts? They seem easier to film, and therefore personally they are fun to watch.
Sure.
Yeah, they could. I mean, if you really think about it, a putting contest, how much different is a putting contest than watching a game of bags? Not too much different. You got 2 people standing probably 40 or 50 feet away, tossing an object into another object. Mm-hmm. It's the same concept.
But we get jacked about it.
Yeah.
Disc golfers.
Correct. Exactly. Yeah. And it's yeah, I mean, it could happen.
Yeah,
and it is way easier to film, of course, because it's stationary.
It is, and then also, I mean, going along those lines, if you put in some real money, I think it can be that much more hype and excitement around it, knowing that Jay Yeti Redding has to make this putt, and it's going to be good for $1,000 if he makes it, and he only wins $200 if he misses it. Yeah, I think it emceed along with a little production value. I think they're awesome, and I do have a putting contest to release. Something else you'll see. Whiplash Joker 21. If we ever mention that we're coming down to that area, remind us that you're available and reach out to us. We appreciate it, to possibly be an additional cameraman. They should do the Maple Hill putting contest when they had the most awkward. They should do the Maple Hill putting contest when they had the most awkward scenario putts. Yeah, I mean, and every putting contest is run a little bit differently. This year's was confusing. Steve Dodge had like these qualifiers and these brackets and these people going. It was kind of odd. I know I didn't follow how it happened. I was trying to record it, but like jump putting from a tree and should not be attempted. I have a question about the USDGC and being inside the ropes with the card. Do you see more regulation taking place next year? Some cards had caddies, friends, family, and posses in the ropes. I'm a huge fan, especially now that I'm like this worked up media guy. Yeah, get the F out. And plenty of our top pros still broke this rule this year and beyond, and they'll continue to break it. Player, caddy.
That's it.
That's it. Especially at a place like USDGC where it's getting more and more congested and there's more and more media. Therefore, player, caddy. Not player, caddy, girlfriend, girlfriend's mom, and your sister. Player and caddy.
Yep.
That's it. Because all those other people are getting in the media way, and all those other people are like, no, but I'm cool with him. That's my boy. I don't give a shit. Get out of the way.
Dropped a swear
I
word.
did. Get out of the way.
And I'm thinking about, yes, it helps us. We want less people. But on top of that, think about the other competitors. The guy who did just bring his caddy or doesn't even have a caddy, like Wysocki, who rarely has a caddy.
Sure.
Suddenly, he's sitting there, and now he's got to deal with like 5 or 6 other people who have nothing to do with golf, milling around, maybe inside the ropes where you're not.
Maybe their phone goes off. Maybe they're anything.
Yeah, agreed. But I'm not so even concerned about that. But I'm sure you get into a mentality like, this is my zone, everybody outside of it.
Yeah.
You've got a couple extra people in there. People that you're not necessarily expecting or anything like that. So, yeah, the fewer the better.
Let's backtrack real quickly. The show must go on, right? I meant, do you guys or would you guys want to request media lanes for the live coverage? Or I don't know about lanes anymore, so to speak, than what it's just.
Yeah.
We need access to being right near the player, and then we don't want people. I mean, it's really just like you watch golf. You want people, the cameramen are going to be near the player.
Yeah.
And if there's a catch camera down near a basket or down wherever, there shouldn't be people in between them, ideally. So I don't. You might be getting a little too formal with the term lanes, from other than what I'm gathering, but no, we just want people out of our way. And then the same thing when this goes back to the entourages and the posses. Sometimes we need to move quickly and swiftly to get into position for the next throw. Or, Wysocki's way on the left side, he just throws, and now we need to move 80 feet over to the right side to get a good position of Macbeth, who's about to throw. And there's, a sea of randoms of all these other people in between us. And it can be really frustrating. I'll be the first to admit it. It can definitely be frustrating.
And I'm not too concerned about this, but someone's right. It does make it a little less professional. You don't see golfers with a group of people. You see the golfer and a caddy walking down the fairway, and then when the golfer wins or loses or whatever, that's when they go into the crowd, they find their significant other, give them a hug, turn in their car, do whatever. You don't see big groups like that. So.
Why do you have to have your whole crew? Beats, I'll just further that, because everybody thinks they're part of the posse, and
everybody wants to be there.
They want to be there and they want to be involved. And I understand that. Some of these are your best friends. The person you're dating, the person you used to date or maybe will be dating, whatever the case is. I understand like the want and the desire, because I am and was one of those guys as just a sheer fan to be there. But now we're just past that point. It is, call it a growing pain or whatever you want to call it. We're past that point of having a crew 6 deep that aren't doing anything. Rainy situation, and you have one extra person there that's just the towel guy and or the umbrella person. I like some circumstances that there's a little leniency. It's a nice day out, though, and you're rolling with a posse 6 deep because they just want to be along. I understand they want to be along. I used to be along and want to be one of those guys. But now there's too many other media. There's too many other people doing their jobs, and you need to step aside. And I won't call it out anyone, but there's a number of them. And I like these people. They still frustrate me when that's happening.
Yeah.
And average viewer at home doesn't think much of it, but when they're in our way, that's when we get frustrated and or feel a little differently than you do about it.
Is there a person? I don't know if I've ever asked you this. Is there a person that is harder to film than another golfer?
Certainly, there's a few of them.
Yeah.
Harder, I mean, I guess is again a subjective term. Some people have better ears than others. Some people are more easily distracted than others.
True.
We love Johnny McRae. He's a phenomenal golfer, but it seems like distractions get at him a little more quickly. Not even quickly. Things distract him a little more easily than other players.
They tend to linger.
And that's not a fault of Johnny's, and I don't think it's really a fault of, I don't even say of the media, of overall, but as these galleries grow, as media grows, as the tournaments grow, there's going to be more potential for distractions, and of course we're trying to eliminate all of them, whoever it is. But Johnny, I think, picks up a little bit better, which is funny because he's usually wearing headphones. But he, whether it's things he sees or hears, and he's a quick thrower. And so, again, that's why I don't fault him at all in that sense, because he wants to get up and he wants to throw. That's what he's there to do. And I just said earlier, slow players are the things I hate the most. So Johnny wants to get up and throw. I'm the same way. However, he also, like I said, I think picks up on distractions. That's the best way to word it. He just picks up on distractions a little bit easier than some of our other players.
Sure.
So it makes it tough for media because I got to make sure that we're not talking. We got to make sure our cameras are in place. We got to make sure of a few extra steps because I definitely I want to do nothing in the world that could possibly be a distraction to him. Yeah. So he's one guy that comes to mind. And other players are far, I don't want to say more patient, that's not quite the word, but some players are very aware of media and they intentionally wait. You'll rarely miss a Paul Macbeth shot, for instance, because he waits. And that's his choice. He'll turn and see where media is, and he knows he's being filmed. He knows fans are watching, whether it's live or recorded, and he has no problem if somebody's lagging or taking an extra moment. He'll wait for them to get in position, and then he'll focus and he'll do what he wants to do. Johnny's kind of an opposite mentality. Johnny isn't concerned about the media because he wants to play some golf and he wants to. And it's just different stories or different, slightly different philosophies.
Yeah, Wysocki's fast, so that's one of the problems. You are on one side of the fairway, and suddenly it's Wysocki's turn to throw, and for you to get in place, there might not be enough time because he gets up and throws.
Yeah,
so that's difficult for us as well, and we're not gonna. That's too bad for us.
Yeah,
we're never gonna tell a player, no, wait till we get in position.
No, there'll be times where.
Especially, maybe on the tee pad.
Yeah.
If there's tee pad, hey guys, can you give us just 30 more seconds while our guy gets in a spot, but never probably in the fairway.
No, or there's been a number of times where maybe it's a 2-shot hole and a Macbeth is possibly lining up he's thinking about throwing his second shot. He's already thrown 400. He's got 400 to go. He'll turn to me and be like, "You guys ready?" And he'll turn to me and say that, which again is funny. Because a lot of people think we talk to the players or maybe I talk to them too much or whatever. Paul, for instance, will turn to me. He's like, "You guys ready to go?" Or he'll turn to me and he'll say, "We're getting ready," because he'll know we're on commercial. He'll know we're doing something else in the live capacity. So he'll turn to me to warn me or to let me know that he's about ready to go and that I should get in position. So he makes it really easy to work with. I don't mean to just single out Paul, but he is one of the best guys. And
we film him a lot.
And we have
the most experience with him and a rapport. So
when you say hardest, again, person to film, that's also depends on how you define that. But in terms of being set and whatnot, who the randos are behind the tee pads on the videos. Yeah, usually they're their friends, their closest friends, sometimes girlfriends, sometimes somebody's parents. Could be the girlfriend's parents or the boyfriend's parents or their own parents. But more often than not, it's a friend that is just that. Have fun, Dan Stevens. Thanks for chiming in tonight. We appreciate you being here and adding into the conversation.
Yeah, I see that the chat is slowing down. I think it's.
I was just trying to catch up with.
I've been reading it. Not too much going on. So, do we have the one question is? Do we have any Smashbox discs from other manufacturers in the works?
We will. We don't at this exact moment. This was the first order in a long time. So I would look for those more as the new season kicks off as we roll into. Your January, February timeframe, maybe even a little later. Then we'll likely have a couple other manufacturers. But this first order, Innova was really chomping at the bit to help support us.
Yeah, so we thank them a lot.
So we made it happen. Scott Bertard, hard to film. He does throw pretty fast. He has the best lazy hyzer. Madison Walker's back.
Scott's. Bertard's one of the guys that I think we could say, dude, slow down, wait first, because we know him so well.
Yeah,
and he wouldn't care. I mean, I think I could quite literally trip him in the middle of his, and he'd stand up and he'd just be like, and he'd probably call me some 4-letter word and then throw in and park it. So
Yeah.
and I did, this is a personal note. I'm in 2 fantasy football leagues with Scotty.
Mm-hmm.
I've played him back-to-back weeks, and I've crushed him both weeks.
Yeah, you're not a player. You just crush a lot.
Yeah. So he wasn't that happy this past 2 weeks with me. So
Suck it, Scotty.
pretty much.
I think is what he's saying.
Eat it.
First, Madison asked if she is the first Smashie to ever tune in from a bus.
More than likely.
I don't know about
Live. Yeah.
that. Live,
I'm sure people have watched
because
on a
nobody
bus.
rides the bus.
Yeah.
Nobody's riding the bus at midnight, usually on a Tuesday night.
It's kind of a shady spot to be in.
So live, probably first ever on a bus listening to us. No, but definitely live. So we appreciate it, Madison. So you're going to North Carolina. And you were in Georgia. If my geography serves me without pulling out Google Maps, that seems like that's the opposite way from home. Can you confirm or deny this? Yes, I'm right. So it's a little odd that you're going that direction. But Smashbox meet and greet in the works. I don't know if that's necessary.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it'd be a fun and great idea, but I don't know if there's enough people in one particular area. Like if
that would give
like,
a crap
that
about
would give
us?
a, like if we were at GBO and we said, hey, we're doing a Smashbox meet and greet. That would probably be one of the, or maybe the Ledgestone would probably be the 2 places that we might get the most turnout. But if we did it at the Memorial, we'd have like one person show up, and it'd probably be Dutch.
our favorite Smashie out there. Bus is for broke people, Madison says, and Terry talks about people being stalkerish. Yeah, but there's a fishing tournament and disc golf tournament in one place. Duh. So that's where Madison's at. Is heading to a fishing/disc golf tournament. Is she going to the International Disc Golf Center? No, because that would be in Augusta or outside of Augusta, Georgia.
I have no idea.
Because that's where they have disc golf and fishing tournaments in the same park, Madison. Yeah, Dutch wasn't on tonight. What's up with him? Do we fire him as the number 1 Smashie?
I can't.
He's got tattoos and all, but
Yeah, he's got tats. No. I'm sure he's probably busy and he'll just watch tomorrow.
He better. What we would love to know is how many of you people tune in and watch in some capacity here on YouTube. Obviously, you guys are here, but if you go out and reference the show, do you send somebody to the YouTube link? Do you send them to a link on our website? Do you tell them to go out and download it? How do you guys share the word of what we talk about? Because to me, I'm a YouTube guy, and so if I wanted to reference the Madison Page conversation last week, I send them right to YouTube. I feel like that's the easiest place to do it. Would you do it any other way?
No, I think I'd send people to YouTube. In general, I mean, for better or worse, it's one feed for our regular and after show, although I hope to figure out how to get that split up. And nice catch.
Nice catch.
And it's easier. I think more people know YouTube. It's built right into your browser, so to speak. You don't have to tell somebody like, go to the podcast. I tell people like, oh yeah, we do actually I don't tell a lot of people I do a podcast because then people ask all sorts of questions and it's weird. But unless they're golfers, but like friends and family, I really don't tell them. They don't need to know. No, otherwise it's like, oh yeah, I do a podcast. Like, oh, how can I get it? Oh, you got to download something on your phone or your mobile. Like, oh really?
And then go search for it.
And then search for it and subscribe. It's easier to just be like, oh, we're on YouTube. Look for us. Look for Smashbox TV on YouTube. So YouTube, I think, is the easiest way. But yeah, there's lots of ways to digest us.
All right, Madison. As you're riding the bus, you got any questions? We'd love to hear from what you have going on there. Luke wants to know if there's any trivia contest that he can win since he doesn't think he's lost one yet.
That's true. Good call, Luke. All right. No, I think we're going to close the show here.
Maybe Dutch is my number 1 fan. I'm not sure. Oh, yeah, Dutch. With the new. Did we ever get a confirmation as to Madison's number 1 fan, who that is? Southeastern Wisconsin.
No, I don't know.
That would be
someone in the area because they know
Well,
I would
not
think.
necessarily.
How did you guys meet? How did you and Madison meet? No.
I was trying to think. I know exactly how.
How you and Madison met, or how you and I
Yes.
met?
No, I know exactly how Madison and I met.
Yeah. Well, wasn't that Tinder?
Swipe right for Tear Bear. No.
Terry and I have known each other since junior high.
Mm-hmm.
We went to Roosevelt Junior High School together since 8th grade. 8th grade is when you came?
In the middle of 8th grade.
In the middle of 8th grade, yeah. So that's when...
Not for behavioral issues, clearly.
Kicked out of your parochial school.
I may have left voluntarily.
Yeah, well, yeah, sure. No, so that's how Terry and I met. So
Yeah, we technically met in junior high.
Yeah, we met in junior high.
We didn't really hang out.
No, I know it's a funny, and I don't know if you recall. I barely recall, but I know we walked home a couple times together because I had when I was like 14, I had a part-time job at this little video game store that was on the way to where you lived. So you, me, and I believe it was Jenny Jansen at the time, walked together like once or twice, a month or something like that, to where I worked, and I would stop off at my job and you would continue on. Mm-hmm. So there was that, and then you went to a different high school than I did for 2 years. Mm-hmm. Then we went to the same high school our senior year, Appleton North.
Mm-hmm. Our
school, there was a brand new school built, so we had the choice of where you wanted to go. We chose to go to the new school independently, just happened to be there. But even then, we weren't really friends. And then I had been working at Best Buy, and you got a job at Best Buy.
I did.
And then we both happened to go to UWM.
Coincidentally. Totally coincidentally.
Because we weren't really friends.
Nope.
And then we became friends in college. Mm-hmm. I mean, even though we'd known each other for years and years, we really kind of became friends in college.
And to think that was
yeah.
almost, not quite 20 years ago. So it's 2000, so almost exactly this time, 19 years ago. It would have been fall of 96.
Yeah, and even then, I don't think
fall, and then into next semester.
It was more second semester that it started.
So just short of 19 years.
Yeah, because we had a mutual friend named Corey who I was more friends with than you at the time, actually. So, but yeah, so we've known each other for a long time.
Yeah, pretty extensively for almost 19 years, but we technically knew each other for 96.
I could pull up some old yearbooks.
Yeah, about so it's been about 23, 25 years, somewhere in that neighborhood, technically. Paige getting some accolades. She's not on the show and has nothing to do with her, but she's getting some good accolades out here. That she had sent a package to Beats 1982's daughter a few years back, and a few of the shirts, and she had gone above and beyond. And when I made a post last week, Thursday, after talking to Paige, there was an outpouring of other support for her, which is completely warranted and expected, because she has been so awesome. Yes, definitely, you were not. Tupac, oh my God, 96. Tupac died in 96. It says you.
Yeah. He's living somewhere on a Caribbean island, I heard.
That's what...
Show me the autopsy pictures.
Yep.
Where are they?
Yep. That's what Inquirer tells me, is that he's still out there. He's still alive.
That's right.
Anyway, all right, ladies and gentlemen, that I think we can put a little pretty bow on this and start calling it a day. Look for, again... I do have
Stop
an itch.
Stop plugging your stuff.
I know. Now you're making me itch after seeing that. Again, look for some disc golf guy.
Yeah,
video blogs.
Get them out, then plug them.
People love the fact that
you tell people they're going to come out and then they don't.
No, the fact that there's now something to watch. There will be.
No, I know. I'm totally with that. So, I want you to do it, but do me a favor. Plug them after you get them out. Don't be like.
I released an Ace video this weekend.
Okay, good.
So go and watch that.
Go and watch that.
And then...
don't tell me how... All right, keep an eye out for this. And
well, they know it's coming down the road. They should be excited.
Within a week?
Yes. Within like 24 hours. Assuming I get these scorecards. They're all ready to go except for the scores. And then I thought, do I just put them up without scores? And I thought, no, everyone will complain about that.
I know. They will complain.
I don't have an
saying.
alternative.
plug it when it's out.
Oh, please. No, because then it's too late.
Uh,
I want them to know.
they're gonna know. You're gonna.
That's like saying don't run a commercial for a movie. Don't run a trailer. Which is funny that they're called trailers.
Because the trailer's after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Plug it when it's out. Are you saying wait until Friday night when it releases and then run a trailer?
Maybe you should do a trailer for your videos.
That's a good idea, except for it'd slow down my actual editing.
I'm just saying.
That's actually a good idea. Who's tennis guy? JJ.
I don't know.
No, I just saw it. He's posted a few times.
Yeah, he posted last week, I believe, too. So.
Yeah, Luke says he's complaining regardless. All right, finally, we'll call it then. For Johnny V and myself, this has been our Smashbox podcast number 62. It's our after show. We appreciate you guys chiming in, give us feedback, and giving us questions to ramble on and on about. Madison, travel safely on the bus, you crazy girl. All right, podcast 62 after show. We'll see you next week when you step inside the Smashbox.